Chapter 1187. The Fekta temple was heavily guarded. There were close to 100,000 Mara demons stationed at the foot of the mountain, and there were 5 checkpoints in total. However, with Ziyan's protection, Xiyan managed to sneak past all of them. These 5 checkpoints are known as the 5 layers of heaven. Ziyan walked forward slowly and said calmly, "After the 5 layers of heaven are 1,000 steps that lead straight to the Fekta temple. It is known as the 1,000 chasms in the demon realm. No matter what you see on the 1,000 chasms, do not speak or pay attention to it. Otherwise, you might be seen through." "Lady Xiyan, do you understand?" "Yes, I understand." Ziyan walked up the steps while Xiyan followed closely behind. The steps were long and wide. The light was dim, and even the stone steps on both sides were shrouded in darkness. However, Xiyan could sense an extremely ferocious aura. Roar, roar, low roars came from the darkness. Xiyan only took a glance and saw a pair of eyes that shone like lanterns. They were giant beasts from the demon realm. Ziyan said in a low voice, "Don't look at them. Those are bone-devouring beasts, the pets of His Majesty Demon Emperor Mara. Once the bone-devouring beasts discover your inner betrayal, they will see through you and you will be hunted down by Mara's army." Xiyan nodded. She seemed to have sensed the intentions of those beasts during that hurried glance. Those pairs of eyes were like traps that lured people to tell the truth. However, who was Xiyan? She was the strongest seraph in the Western Divine Realm. Her footsteps were steady and she clenched her fists tightly as she followed Ziyan toward the Fekta temple. Not far ahead, the stone steps suddenly broke, and a purple demonic flame soared into the sky from below. Ziyan said in a low voice, "We have arrived at the cliff. There are about 100 steps in the middle. The impact of the devil flame replaces the stone steps. In fact, stepping down is the same, but you will have to bear the baptism of the devil flame. However, for the people of the devil world, it is like a happy bath. Madam Xiyan, you have to endure the burning of the devil flame, can you? Don't talk. Just keep walking. I can do it." "Yes." As they continued forward, when Xiyan stepped onto the demonic flames, she immediately felt as if she had stepped into a sea of fire. However, she gritted her teeth and endured it. She could only endure it so that she would not give herself away. Otherwise, she would be easily seen through. Who knew how many pairs of eyes were staring at them in the darkness? On the other hand, when Ziyan and the group of Mara walked past the cliff, they looked as if they were the owners of a bathing center. When Xiyan walked past the 100 stone steps, she could not help but take a deep breath. She could not use her divine power to resist the devil flame because the fluctuation of her aura would attract the attention of others. She could only rely on her flesh and blood to resist the devil flame. Her feet were burning, but she could only grit her teeth and endure it. Ziyan continued walking and said in a low voice, "Next is the inspection of the devil guards. Once we pass this test, we can enter the Fekta temple." "Inspection by the devil guards?" "Yes, these devil guards are all at the devil general level. They are the minions of the eternal demon emperor. Madam Xiyan, please use the mask of nothingness that I gave you. Only the mask of nothingness can deceive the eyes of these devil guards." "Okay." Unknowingly, a layer of indistinct cyclone appeared on Xiyan's face and transformed into another face. It was Mara's face, hideous and terrifying. "Raise your head." A few fiend guards stepped forward and berated loudly. Ziyan raised his head and said, "What's wrong? Don't you recognize me?" "Oh, so it's Demon General Ziyan. Are you here to debrief?" "Yes, I've brought along some new soldiers." "Heh, so many. It seems like you've plundered quite a lot in the lower domain." "Yes, yes." At this moment, a devil guard suddenly stretched out his hand and blocked Xiyan's path. "You, raise your head." Xiyan raised her head, her heart filled with apprehension. It would be troublesome if she was recognized. However, the other party did not seem to see through the mask of nothingness's disguise. He smiled faintly and said, "This Mara looks malnourished. He needs to absorb more devil flame in order to be of service to the demon world." That's right, that's right. He'll definitely have something to eat in the Fekta temple. Ziyen said, "Then can we go over?" Go ahead and hand Mara over to the examiner. You can stay in the Fekta temple for the night and debrief tomorrow morning. Yes. After entering the main hall, Xian was somewhat astonished. Only after entering did she realize how enormous the Fekta temple was. It was even more majestic than the main hall in the Western Divine Realm back then. A group of hundreds of people walked into the main hall and they seemed extremely small. Deep in the main hall, there was the sound of gears turning and the passageways in front of them were changing like Rubik's cubes. There was no ground in front of them, only an empty void. Ziyen said loudly, "I'm Demon General Ziyen of the Ziyen Crevice. I've led the troops to deliver this to His Majesty, Demon Emperor. Please let us through." In the air, an elderly voice sounded, "Wait a moment." Not long after, the sound of gears became louder and louder. In the distance, two black undulating passageways could be seen. The elderly voice said, "Troops, take the left passageway. Debriefers, take the right passageway." Yes. Under Ziyan's signal, Mara walked onto the left passageway and crawled on it, looking extremely afraid. Ziyan shot a glance at Xian and said, "Let's go, we'll take the right passageway." When the two of them stepped onto the passageway, the black boulder gradually rose and sent them to the Fekta temple's residence. In the distance, a cubicle space appeared around the main hall. That was the residence. Debriefers were not qualified to have an audience with the Demon Emperor and had to leave after staying for a night. However, Xian's gaze was fixed in the distance. On the right side of the Fekta temple, there was a towering mountain peak with a dazzling pearl on it. Upon closer inspection, one would realize that it was not a pearl but a divine weapon. It was a vast ancient pagoda that was layered and changed endlessly. It was suffused with a faint demonic luster. It was the god-destroying pagoda. In front of the god-destroying pagoda, a person sat there in dazzling armor. It was the ancient demon emperor. He was actually personally guarding the god-destroying pagoda. "Where's Eva?" Xian said softly. "Don't be anxious, let's observe first." Not long after, the two of them were sent to a cubicle outside the Fekta temple. It was a room with a large bed, some food and fruits. The treatment of a demon general was not bad. After entering the room, they could still see the light of the god-destroying pagoda on the Fekta peak in the distance. However, it was separated from the outside world by a layer of crystal glass. Ziyen said softly, "My lord, don't be anxious, let's wait quietly. I heard that the ancient demon emperor enters the earth's core to absorb the purest demonic chi every night. At that time, only the Holy King will be guarding the god-destroying pagoda. According to the days, the one guarding the god-destroying pagoda should be the Qilin Holy King. When that time comes, my lord Xian, you can stall the Qilin Holy King while I steal the broken sword at the side of the god-destroying pagoda and leave the Fekta temple with Lady Eva's primordial spirit. You can look for me after you get rid of the Qilin Holy King. Can you do it alone?" Xian was rather doubtful. "I can, please believe in me." Okay, time trickled by. After midnight, the ancient demon emperor's figure suddenly disappeared and was replaced by a demon expert in red Qilin armor. It was the legendary Qilin Holy King. His strength was not bad, although he was far from the ancient demon emperors. "It's time for us to take action." Xian's palm glowed with a faint radiance. She wiped it lightly on the transparent wall and a hole was immediately burned on the crystal. Cold wind blew in. She glanced at Ziyen and said, "If you can save Eva, I will definitely repay you generously." Ziyen cupped his fists and said, "My lord, what are you saying? I just don't want to continue doing evil. Okay, let's go. A stream of light shot out from the densely packed square room and turned into a dazzling radiance. The moment the Chiwa sword was unsheathed, half of the Fekta temple flickered. Who's there? The Qilin Holy King roared angrily. A long blade appeared in his hand and he slashed at Shi Yan. However, Shi Yan's speed was faster. She spread her 6 wings and swept her sword horizontally, creating waves of sword chi. It was the first strike of Shi Yan's 7 strikes, split. Pung! Saint King Qilin was obviously no match for him. He was forced to retreat. His ferocious nature burst forth as he roared, "I'm going to kill you." The Chiwa sword danced and light shone again. The 5th strike, release. Boom! Under the baptism of the law of light, the Qilin Holy King wailed endlessly and his body seemed to be peeled off inch by inch. Behind him, on the Fekta peak, Ziyen floated down and held the god-destroying pagoda in his hands. His eyes suddenly turned sinister and the vigorous power surged into his body. He laughed loudly and said, "God-destroying pagoda, you are mine now. Ha ha ha, you are mine now. From today onwards, the demon realm will be ruled by me, Ziyen." Shi Yan was shocked. "Ziyen, you. Ha ha ha, my lord Shi Yan, you are so silly. How can a demon be a good person, ha ha ha, bastard." Shi Yan rose and slashed with her sword. However, Ziyen had already raised the god-destroying pagoda and demon flames surged from the bottom of the pagoda. He laughed loudly and said, "Come, come, be the first sacrifice of the god-destroying pagoda." Buzz! The entire heaven and earth began to distort and the demon realm suddenly darkened. A beam of light shot out from the bottom of the god-destroying pagoda and blasted straight at Shi Yan. Pung! With a loud sound, Shi Yan's body turned into a shooting star and disappeared from the Fekta peak. She fell into the dark mountains in the distance and left a trail of light in the sky. Ziyen laughed crazily and when he looked down, he was suddenly stunned. Where is Eva's primordial spirit? Damn it, this woman is so fast. 6 realms, East Heaven. The Hall of Great Accomplishment was filled with the sounds of killing. Countless winged Mara descended from the sky and shot arrows into the bodies of the crippled gods outside the hall. The sounds of killing and screams were continuous. The heaven realm had already become a purgatory. At this moment, in Ba Huang domain, the winged Mara were still playing around with the 7 luminaries Demon Emperor. Did you hear that, 7 luminaries Demon Emperor? A loud sound came from the demon realm. It's the light of the god-destroying pagoda. Ha ha ha, His Majesty the Eternal Demon Emperor has already started to use the god-destroying pagoda to kill gods. Who are those dead gods? Is it your Xiao or the mortal realm's Tang Xiaoxi? He, I seem to have heard screams and begging for mercy. It's so tragic. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor's eyes were tightly shut. He could see the tragic scene not far away. The Hall of Great Accomplishment was surrounded and countless of his subordinates were fighting a bloody battle. The corners of the 7 Brilliance Demon Monarch's eyes suddenly emitted wisps of golden flames. His lips curled upward as he said with a smile, "You've gone through a lot of trouble to seal my 12 meridians with vines, demanding my god force for your use, but, do you idiots know that I've already cultivated the 13th meridian 8 years ago? Do you guys really think you can trap me?" What? The winged Mara turned pale with fright. At the same time, the 7 luminaries Demon Emperor roared angrily. The wisteria that filled the sky collapsed and burned. He had broken free. In the instant that he broke free, the golden light on his arm shone brightly, shattering the bodies of hundreds of demonic luos. He raised his head to look at the sky and bellowed furiously, "Heavenly Melody Scroll, get the hell out here. What kind of Mahayana heavenly Tao are you? Put away your high and mighty attitude. You are just a broken book. How can a broken book like you control the life and death of the living beings in the 6 realms? With or without you, I am still a god. Buzz buzz, in the sky, the golden scroll actually appeared. Lines of words illuminated the sky. Soon, the words, 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor, appeared. Then, a huge celestial phenomenon appeared in the sky and gathered into the image of Nuwa. She said with a hint of dissatisfaction in her voice, 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor, you are upright and fearless. You have obtained the approval of the heavenly voice scroll. Today, I will bestow upon you a first-class superior god Dharma body and the title Mad God. You will control the heavenly Tao of the 6 realms. I will also bestow upon you the ability, Unyielding Bones. I hope that you will uphold kindness and protect the Mahayana heavenly Tao for all living beings in the world. Whoosh! A mad god celestial phenomenon descended from the sky and focused on the 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor. The 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor pointed at Nuwa and said in a low voice, "Don't act all high and mighty. I won't submit to you. This is my ability, why do I need you to bestow it to me? I have tolerated the demon realm for almost half a year before your *T Mahayana heavenly Tao appeared. Where were you when the world was in danger? Who do you think you are, high and mighty heavenly Tao?" Nuwa's avatar looked a little angry and said, "You are now a true god of the Mahayana heavenly Tao. Try not to swear," the 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor said coldly, "I don't have time to bicker with you. I'm going to the Hall of Great Accomplishment to tell your heavenly voice scroll to choose more true gods as soon as possible. This world cannot tolerate any more chaos." Nuwa was speechless. She watched as the 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor disappeared before her eyes, but there was nothing she could do. The mad god naturally had to be wild and unrestrained. Otherwise, he wouldn't be called the mad god. Chapter 1188. In the sky above the Hall of Great Accomplishment, thousands of winged Mara flew around, letting out deafening roars. Outside the hall, blood flowed everywhere. Xiao, Sun Feng and the others were all injured, but in order to protect the Hall of Great Accomplishment, they still fought to the death. Pooh! The sky that was originally shrouded in blood clouds was suddenly torn open, and a person descended from the sky. Behind him was a huge image of the mad god Dharma body. With a devastating attack, hundreds of Mara were instantly torn apart. The 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor's speed was extremely fast, and he landed on the blood-stained steps in front of the Hall of Great Accomplishment like lightning. He bent his body slightly, and light swirled in his left palm. This was the prelude to the attack of the 7 glorious stars. Demon Emperor! Xiao cried tears of joy. Sun Feng, Qing Ping and the others also knelt down. "Demon Emperor, you are finally back." The 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor gritted his teeth, "This debt is not settled yet." In the next moment, the spirit mountain began to tremble. Rays of starlight seeped out from the surface of the mountain, transforming into the power of the stars that blasted towards the sky. Instantly, the 2-winged devil Luo's screams rang out. Just a single 7 glorious stars transformation had actually cleared out almost all of the devil Luos in the starry sky. In the sky, Mara's broken body continued to fall, as if it was raining blood. However, the 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor looked at the hundreds of steps in the Hall of Great Accomplishment, and saw the corpses of the Eastern Heaven Realm cultivators everywhere. His heart sank. Although he killed thousands of Mara, the Eastern Heaven Realm clearly suffered more. "How many of us died?" asked the 7 Luminaries Demon Emperor. Xiao said faintly, "There are about 100,000 crippled gods in the Eastern Heaven Realm, and the dead account for about 70% of them." "So many," Demon Emperor murmured, "it's all my fault. If it wasn't to avoid Sky Law's punishment, perhaps I wouldn't have to be trapped in 8 Wasteland Realm, let alone let Eastern Heaven Realm suffer such a heavy blow." Sun Feng said, "Your Majesty, we are willing to sacrifice ourselves for the Eastern Heaven Realm, you don't have to blame yourself. But don't worry. Now that I'm back, I won't let the demon realm encroach on my domain." The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor lightly shook his fists and said in a low voice, I will find a way to remove the heavenly punishment, and I will also search for the secrets of the Mahayana heavenly path so that you can regain your true god bodies as soon as possible. Yes, thank you, Your Majesty. Everyone knelt down one after another. There were at least 10,000 Eastern Heaven Realms crippled gods around the Hall of Great Accomplishment. They were almost all the elites of the Eastern Heaven Realm. At this moment, the faint sound of thunder came from the sky, and a huge figure descended from the sky. It was an image condensed from telekinesis, with white hair and a youthful complexion. It was Fushi. Xiao, Sun Feng and the others seemed to know Fushi. They quickly knelt down and said respectfully, Xiao, Sun Feng greets Your Majesty. Everyone knelt down again. Only the 7 luminaries Demon Emperor stood proudly on the blood-stained steps, raised his eyebrows and said, Heavenly Emperor Fushi, how did you become a heavenly emperor? The 6 realms are in trouble, but you did nothing. Fushi smiled gently and said, It's not that I did nothing, but the things that I could do were too little. With my lifetime's cultivation and the abilities of the 4 great disciples of the Sun, Moon, and Stars Palace, I could only guard the metal realm, so that the heavenly melody scroll could enter the 6 realms. 7 luminaries Demon Emperor, your mission and mine are different. I need to guard the metal realm, while you need to sweep away all the demons of the god realm in the 6 realms. What do you mean? Fushi said, I just received news that you obtained the title of Mahayana Heavenly Tao, so I rushed here immediately. I hope you can go to the Northern Heaven Realm immediately. There, the former Divine King Dongming and 70,000 soldiers are trapped in Dark Castle. Nearly 100,000 demons are attacking them, and only you can save them. Are you kidding me? The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor smiled, Dongming and I have always been sworn enemies. Now that Dongming sent Yangshang to the mortal realm with the celestial race's army, so many of Yangshang's people turned into demons, I haven't even settled this debt yet, and now you want me to save Dongming? That's impossible. I know better than anyone what kind of person Dongming is. Fushi smiled. That's right, Dongming is a person who thirsts for power, but there is still kindness in the depths of his heart. The 4 celestial realms are already in trouble, and only by forming an alliance can we resist the invasion of the powerful demon realm. I can also tell you another piece of news. The Heavenly Sound Scroll has already acknowledged Dongming's potential. Soon, it will naturally give Dongming the title of Mahayana Heavenly Tao. As long as you help him, Dongming will definitely be grateful to you and ally with your army to resist the power of the demon realm together. Is the demon realm that powerful? Only more powerful. A mere Mingshi can hold me back, and the overall strength of the demon realm is more than 10 times that of a Mingshi. Take Mara for example. In the demon realm, Mara's army numbers in the tens of millions. Do you think you can stop them all by yourself? The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor took a deep breath, feeling a chill in his heart, and said, Then, what benefits does it bring me to form an alliance with Dongming? Well. Fushi did not say anything. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor smiled, I understand now. Actually, you gods from the realm beyond heaven still have a certain amount of power to influence the heavenly melody scroll, right? At least, the heavenly melody scroll is activated by the power of you 3 ancestral gods. Since you want me to form an alliance with Dongming, I have a condition. I want you to use your own power to influence the heavenly melody scroll, and let Xiao step into the Mahayana Heavenly Tao as soon as possible. Demon Emperor. Xiao was a little moved. Fushi remained silent. After calculating with his fingers, he smiled, there's no need for me to control it. Within a month, Xiao Fairy will definitely step into the Mahayana Heavenly Tao. Alright, that's all I have to say. You can decide what to do. With that said, Fushi's figure instantly turned illusory and disappeared. Humph, the gods from the realm beyond heaven, all of them come and go as they please. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor clenched his fists. Xiao said, Demon Emperor, what do we do now? You guys, stay and rebuild the Hall of Great Accomplishment. I want to enter the other spirit mountains and kill all the Mara who invaded the Eastern Heaven Realm. Then, I will go to the Northern Heaven Realm alone and save Dongming. I want to see what kind of achievements this uncouth Dongming has. Yes, I understand. Demon Realm, Fekta Temple. Demon General Ziyan, who was holding the God-destroying tower, stood majestically in the cold wind. Looking at the huge Fekta Temple, he felt an endless amount of power flowing into his body. He had reached an unprecedentedly powerful realm. He could not help but burst into laughter. Now, I am the strongest in the demon realm. Two-winged Mara, shouldn't you all be loyal to me? In the sky, the black mass of two-winged Mara flew at an extremely fast speed like a rolling dark cloud. They all made a prostrating posture. They only respected the strongest. Since the God-destroying tower was in the hands of Ziyan, he was naturally the strongest. Right at this moment, a person parted the crowd of Moro and walked over. Her body was suffused with a faint demonic flame, and she held an exquisite battle axe in her hand. It was a woman, an enchanting woman from the devil world. The armor she wore was like a snake that coiled around her beautiful and delicate body. Her slender, snow-white legs were suffused with an intoxicating glow in the night sky. Bai Feng, Holy King? Ziyan was taken aback, but he smiled. The God-destroying tower in his hand floated in layers and was enshrouded in a majestic radiance. Now that the God-destroying tower is in my hands, do you plan to resist me? The corner of Bai Feng's mouth curled up. The ancient demon emperor is cultivating underground and can come up at any time. Do you really think that you can rule the entire demon realm with just the God-destroying tower? Can't I? Ziyan burst into laughter. Then I'll let you experience it. As he spoke, Ziyan suddenly bent his body towards the ground and roared. The God-destroying pagoda in his hand shone brightly as he bellowed, so what if you hide it well? If the God-destroying pagoda can create your throne, then it can destroy you. Boom! The light illuminated the entire sky. The God-destroying pagoda was enshrouded in dense energy. It transformed into layers of energy ripples as it smashed towards the ground. A beam of light penetrated through the surface of the earth and went straight into the earth's core, pointing straight towards the location where the ancient devil emperor was cultivating. Boom! The entire ground shook violently. Even the southern corner of the Fekta palace started to collapse. The screams of Mara and the others were incessant. Ziyan, are you crazy? Bai Feng roared. Do you want to destroy the entire demon realm? Ziyan sneered. Bai Feng, Holy King, aren't you very loyal to the ancient demon emperor? Don't you think it's time for you to change masters? Call me master, and I'll consider sparing your life after killing the ancient demon emperor. You! Bai Feng trembled in anger. At this moment, within the majestic radiance of the God-destroying tower, a person was forcefully sucked out from the ground. Under the baptism of the radiance, his body curled up and trembled as he screamed. It was the ancient demon emperor. The once insufferably arrogant demon had no way to retaliate against the power of the God-destroying pagoda. Ziyan, you bastard! Bai Feng bellowed. His palm conjured a raging flame, and he launched a sneak attack at Ziyan. Unfortunately, the palm energy was dispersed by the radiance of the God-destroying tower when it was 3 meters away from Ziyan. The God-destroying tower was the ultimate divine weapon of the demon realm. Not only could it kill gods and Buddhas, it could also protect its user from harm. Do you really want to be my enemy? Ziyan suddenly turned around, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Bai Feng took a few steps back. His beautiful face was filled with fear. He did not speak anymore and stood in the air with his head lowered. Humph! Ziyan looked at the ancient demon emperor under the radiance of the God-destroying tower and couldn't help but sneer. For thousands of years, I have been obedient to you, but you have never thought of raising my status in the demon realm. You have given all the purest darkness raw stones to Bai Feng, Qilin, and the other holy kings, but you have never thought of me. Today, I will use your most beloved divine weapon to kill you personally." Under the bone-piercing radiance, the ancient demon emperor's body had already started to change shape. He roared angrily, "Ziyan, you bastard who deceived your master and destroyed your ancestors. Ha ha ha, you just realized?" Ziyan roared, and the radiance of the god-destroying tower increased. Instantly, the ancient demon emperor's body exploded in the air, and the fragments of his body turned into streaks of starlight. Ziyan had already flown forward, opened his mouth, and sucked in the remaining demonic aura of the ancient demon emperor. Instantly, his body trembled violently, and blood-colored scales grew on his skin. The radiance in his eyes became even brighter. With the help of the god-destroying tower, Ziyan had devoured at least 50% of the ancient demon emperor's cultivation. The fights between people in the demon realm were much crueler than those in the celestial realm and the mortal realm. Bai Feng slowly knelt on the ground and muttered while crying, "Your Majesty, Demon Emperor, I am useless." Ziyan's eyes were filled with disdain. His current cultivation was already above Bai Feng's. He said indifferently, "Two-winged Mara, search the mountains and find the location of Shiyen and Eva, then report to me." "Yes." In the sky, the tens of thousands of two-winged Mara scattered in the blink of an eye. Bai Feng, the Holy King, wore a small white cloak. He stood up and said, "Ziyan, Demon Emperor, what are your orders?" Ziyan's lips curled up, and he smiled. "I have not tasted the taste of a woman in the demon realm, especially a woman of the Holy King's level. Tonight, you shall sleep with me." Bai Feng was shocked. Ziyan's eyes were ferocious as he laughed loudly. "Look at how scared you are. I have no interest in women. Don't worry, you just have to listen to my orders. I won't touch you. I am a good demon." Bai Feng. Chapter 1189. Amidst the mountains, in an inconspicuous cave, Shiyen hugged a broken sword tightly as she vomited blood continuously. That attack from the god-destroying pagoda had almost taken her life, but Shiyen didn't feel depressed at all. Instead, her face was filled with indescribable joy. She caressed the stains on the broken sword as streams of god power seeped into the weapon. Instantly, the blazing angel's power drew out the primordial spirit in the broken sword. Swish! Eva's primordial spirit floated out. It looked exactly the same as before, but it was much more haggard. Sister Haiyan. The moment Eva saw Shiyen, her face was already filled with tears. Shiyen gently raised her hand, as if touching her face, and said, "I'm late, I've made you suffer. Hey, baby, tell me what happened." The demon realm broke through the seal of the 6 realms. The moment I barged into the seal, I was captured by the ancient demon emperor. It was done by the ancient demon emperor himself? Eva, I will think of a way to revive you. I will find a perfect body for you and reconstruct your spirit lattice. Don't worry. No. Eva muttered, "Sister Haiyan, my primordial spirit is too weak." The ancient demon emperor had refined almost half of my god power and converted my power into the energy of the god-destroying pagoda. My current primordial spirit is no longer enough to reconstruct my spirit lattice. Don't worry, you still have me. If I say it's possible, then it's possible. Shiyen gritted her teeth and said, "Rest for a while first. I will find a chance to bring you out of the demon realm. It will be much safer when we reach the 6 realms. I will also have a chance to revive you. But, the ancient demon emperor will not let us off. Don't worry. The immemorial demon emperor is dead. He was killed by that lunatic, Ziyan." Shiyen looked out of the cave and said, "If my guess is wrong, the other 3 holy emperors of the demon realm will definitely come to avenge the eternal demon emperor. Once they fight with Ziyan, Humph, we will have already left the demon realm during the chaos. Alright then, I'll follow elder sister's arrangements. Alright, you should rest quickly and recover your strength. Alright, as Shi Yan had expected, the Fekta sacred hall was already in a mess before daybreak. Countless demonic auras flew toward the Fekta sacred hall from afar. They were densely packed and countless. The other 3 saint emperors of the demon world had already brought their armies to suppress the Fekta sacred hall. The powerful demon world had many internal conflicts. With the death of the ancient demon emperor, the demon world had become leaderless. Although Ziyan had the god-destroying pagoda, he was still too inexperienced. No one would think highly of a mere demon general. In the sky above the Fekta temple, Ziyan was hugging the god-destroying pagoda. Behind him were Bai Feng, the other 2 holy kings, and countless Mara troops. They represented the power of the Fekta temple. In front of them, the world was filled with Mara. The other 3 holy emperors also appeared in their field of vision. They were Jiojue Holy Emperor of Destruction, and Skirich Holy Emperor. Each of them had unfathomable cultivation, but they shared a common weakness: they were afraid of the god-destroying pagoda. None of them had the power to resist the god-destroying pagoda, but at the same time, they were unwilling to submit to the demon general Ziyan. Ziyan. Skirich Holy Emperor's huge body rolled over. His lower body flowed like a black river and he held a huge sword in his hand. Are you the one who killed the ancient demon emperor? Yes. Ziyan nodded and smiled. Skirich Holy Emperor narrowed his eyes. What exactly do you want to do? Unify the demon world? Yes, so what? Skirich Holy Emperor couldn't help but burst into laughter. You're just a demon general. Even if you have the god-destroying pagoda, can you really unify the demon world? Let me tell you, black is black and white is white. Do you think a god-destroying pagoda can change your status as a demon general and make you a demon emperor? Can't I? Ziyan's smile was filled with ruthlessness. The god-destroying pagoda's energy had recovered and he could use it again. With a roar, he took out the divine weapon. Instantly, a majestic light descended from the sky and turned into a huge tarot that enveloped Skirich Holy Emperor's body. Skirich Holy Emperor screamed in pain. He quickly opened his palms and roared, "Demonic chi control, break for me." Streams of fiery red energy revolved rapidly and resisted the god-destroying pagoda. Skirich Holy Emperor's reputation as one of the 4 holy emperors was not undeserved. However, how could a single person resist the power of the entire demon world? In the blink of an eye, Skirich Holy Emperor's arm broke. He spat out blood and lost consciousness. His body started to shatter. At the same time he died, the power and essence in his body turned into demonic chi and was absorbed by Ziyan crazily. This time, he could only absorb about 30% of Skirich Holy Emperor's power. Although he had the god-destroying pagoda to protect him, the powerful power still surged. Ziyan's skin burst open and blood flowed continuously. He looked like a devil. Bathed in the blood of Skirich Holy Emperor, he laughed loudly. He was in pain and excitement. He looked at Jiojue Holy Emperor and World Destroyer Holy Emperor with a ferocious gaze and roared, "Do you see that? This is the result of resisting me. I have already devoured the eternal demon emperor's power. Now, with the addition of Skirich Holy Emperor's power, do you think that my power is weaker than you? You are looking down on me too much. Ha ha ha." As he spoke, he licked the blood at the corner of his mouth. Ziyan continued, "Even though Eternal Demon Emperor has such a powerful god-destroying pagoda, he did not devour you. You should be glad that Eternal Demon Emperor is kind-hearted. Of course, I am also kind-hearted. As long as the 2 of you swear loyalty to me, I will let you go. How about it?" Jiojue Holy Emperor clenched his fists. His body trembled but he did not speak. Very soon, he and God's destroying Holy Emperor knelt down together and said, "The two of us are willing to swear loyalty to you." Ziyan laughed loudly. "Now, what should you call me?" Ziyan Demon Emperor. "Oh no, Ziyan Ancestor Emperor." "Ha ha ha, that's more like it." Ziyan laughed sinisterly. "In the past, everyone looked down on me. Now, I want everyone to be afraid of me. I want everyone in the world to be afraid of me. I want the whole world to be under my feet." World-destroying Holy Emperor and Jiuzhue Holy Emperor looked at each other and saw worry in each other's eyes. Originally, Eternal Demon Emperor had planned to use the power of the seven luminaries Demon Emperor and Eva to forge the god-destroying pagoda into a perfect divine weapon. By then, no one in the world would be able to resist the god-destroying pagoda. However, he was killed before he could complete all this. Although the god-destroying pagoda was powerful, it was not invincible. Ziyan's greed had caused chaos in the demon world. At the same time, it seemed to have given the Mahayana Heavenly Tao a chance to retaliate. The starlight dimmed. Among the mountains, a figure flew away. It was Shiyen. She had already brought Eva's primordial spirit away from this ominous place as soon as possible. The longer they stayed in the demon world, the more danger they would be in. Behind them, a row of winged Mara screeched as they chased after them. However, their screeches did not attract Ziyan's attention. Ziyan was only concerned about establishing his might in front of the demons and had completely forgotten about Shiyen and Eva. In reality, Ancestor Ziyan, who had devoured two holy emperors consecutively and possessed the god-destroying pagoda, did not care about Shiyen and Eva at all. Even if Shiyen and Eva were at their peak, Ancestor Ziyan was confident that he could kill them within 10 moves. He indeed had the ability to do so. The power of the god-destroying pagoda was far beyond ordinary people's imagination. At the seal of the 6 realms, Shiyen, who was flying at full speed, was like a ray of cold light. As she flew into the Chaos Realm, she did not stop and flew towards the spirited mountain plain in the distance. Eva's primordial spirit's voice came from the broken sword. "Sister Hyan, where are you going?" "The Western Divine Realm." Why? "That's our home, and the Western Divine Realm has long been massacred by Mara's army. There are no humans or gods now. The demon world will not expect us to hide in the Western Divine Realm. Your body needs a large amount of light god power to reconstruct. As long as I can find the light origin stone in the Western Divine Realm, I have the confidence to reconstruct your body. Can't you feel it, Eva? The nomological power is recovering rapidly. The heavenly Tao that belongs to us has returned. Yes, it's the Mahayana Heavenly Tao. Yes, don't talk. Rest well. I'm here for anything." Yes, at night, the Red Rock City's marshal's residence was quiet. It was rare that it did not snow. Lin Muyu stood in the courtyard, cultivating the star technique. His body glowed with faint starlight, as if he was plated with a layer of light. He was cultivating while Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were brewing tea. The night was long and no one was in the mood to sleep. Many things seemed to have happened in the heaven realm. Tang Xiaoxi looked up at the sky and pursed her lips. "The energy fluctuations are very strong, but we can't see it. The heavenly melody scroll might have become a god in the heaven realm." "Shao Shi, you're an orthodox god. Even you can't see it?" Qin Yin was surprised. "Yes, the nomological power of the Mahayana Heavenly Tao is different." At this moment, Tang Xiaoxi suddenly opened her mouth and said, "Not good, something is coming. Mu, be careful." As she said that, Tang Xiaoxi's graceful body was already in the air. A flame descended from the sky. Shua, Tang Xiaoxi blocked it in the air. With a strong impact, she crashed into the ground. Just before she landed, Tang Xiaoxi forcefully resisted this force. A huge ice crystal appeared in her hands. "What is this?" Lin Muyu flew forward and asked. Behind her, a golden figure appeared. It was the 7 luminaries' demon emperor. He smiled and said, "It's a demon shadow crystal." "Brother demon emperor." Lin Muyu was surprised. You ascended to the Mahayana heavenly Tao?" "Yes." The demon emperor nodded with a smile. "Ah, long time no see. This is a Mahayana divine crystal. I asked Nuwa for it on your behalf. It can sense the power of the demon realm. Once someone from the demon realm approaches, it will glow. At the same time, it will be mixed with the nomological power of the Mahayana heavenly Tao. You can see the names of the orthodox gods of the Mahayana heavenly Tao in the crystal." "Oh." Lin Muyu reached out and wiped the crystal. Indeed, there were 2 golden names in the depths of the crystal. One was Tang Xiaoxi, and the other was the 7 luminaries' demon emperor. "That's great, I can't stay any longer. I still have things to do." "You have to work hard." "Yes." The 7 luminaries' demon emperor came and left quickly. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. "Mad God." Tang Xiaoxi pursed her red lips and said, "His avatar is stronger than mine." Chapter 1190. The return of the 7 luminaries' demon emperors meant that the heaven realm would have a brand new structure. However, there were not many changes in the mortal world. The celestial pole continent still maintained the structure of the 3 empires. Moreover, the 2 higher gods, Tang Xiaoxi and Wuchang, maintained the confrontation between the north and the south. There would probably not be any changes in the short term. The only change was that the heavenly sound scroll seemed to be very stingy with the quota for the Mahayana heavenly Tao. On the contrary, the Book of Godhood was not stingy. Within a short month, another 3 people in the celestial pole continent obtained demonic bodies and were conferred the title of demon god. On the 29th of April, Sima Jin of the Yangshang army ascended to become a first-grade medium demon god and obtained the title of nightmare demon god. For this, Yangshang held a banquet for 3 days and 3 nights to entertain his officials. On the 4th of May, another person in the Yangshang army obtained a demonic body. It was Lin of the North, a 3rd-grade medium god. He obtained the title of Demon God Destroyer and was immediately promoted to captaincy by Yangshang. On the 27th of May, another person in the Celestial Empire obtained a demonic body. Moreover, it was a 3rd-grade higher god. His name was Mao Yu. He was an executioner of the Heaven's End Corps. Mao Yu had killed countless people and had a good reputation among the executioners. On the day he transformed into a demon god, he killed his wife and son in a fit of rage. In the end, Chen Yu did not punish him with the empire's constitution. Instead, he was promoted to deputy commander of the empire. Although a 3rd-grade higher god was inferior to Tang Xiaoxi and Wuchang, it was too important to the Celestial Empire. It was practically a life-saving straw. On the 4th of June, the sound of war drums reverberated across the celestial pole continent again. With Wu Chang as commander and Sun Shi as military advisor, the Yangshang army mobilized 400,000 soldiers to attack Shiping City. The army set off on the same day and headed straight for Shiping City. The military report arrived at Shiping Prefecture early in the morning. At this time, Feng Jixing and the others did not need to be secretive. They set up a sand table in the conference hall of Shiping Prefecture and discussed countermeasures. Is the Winged Army's investigation true? Feng Jixing leaned over the map and asked after a careful look. Qian Feng, who was wearing the marshal's cloak, nodded and said, "The scouts of the Wing tribe are all my trusted subordinates and can definitely be trusted. This time, Yangshang has mobilized almost all of their forces. There are 120,000 steel cavalry, 200,000 infantry, and 80,000 archers and siege troops. In addition, Wushang is personally supervising the battle. Sima Jin and Lin of the North are also here." Ifeng said, I'm not worried about Wu Wuchang. Feng Jixing said, if Wu Shang were to participate in the battle, Princess she would be able to reach Shiping City in 2 hours at full speed. With Princess Shi around, there's no need to fear Wu Shang. What I'm curious about is why Yang Shang chose to attack us at this time. Don't they want to wait for spring to come and harvest the crops? Ding Shi shook his head. It snowed 3 days ago. It looks like we won't have the chance to plant crops this year. Yang Shang is different from us. Even if he has to eat people, he will still start this war. That's why he's not worried about food. But us, the 80,000 armor demons that Commander Qianfeng has stationed outside Shiping City consume a huge amount of food and meat every day. Every 3 days, they consume the cows and sheep of a farm. There are only over 20 farms in the entire West Mountain province. If they continue to eat like this, I'm afraid that the country we've just established in the Celestial Pole mainland will be eaten up. Qianfeng smiled awkwardly. The armor demons have always been like this. Once a war breaks out, aren't they also 1 against 10? Ding Shi smiled and said respectfully, Commander Feng, what do you plan to do? Do we concentrate our forces to guard Shiping City, or do we take the initiative to attack and meet Yangshang at the border of West Mountain Province and Tianji Province? Feng Jixing thought for a while and said, in the past 2 months, we have conquered the entire West Mountain Province. The 7 provinces in the north have also fallen into the territory of the Qin Empire. They are now citizens of the Qin Empire. We can't let them suffer from the chaos of war anymore. Let's take the initiative to attack. Pass down my order to deploy heavy troops at the forts at the northern border to meet the Shang army. Yes. Red Rock City. The moon and stars hung high in the sky. The snow and the cold courtyard had not completely melted. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi had already gone to bed. In the courtyard, only Lin Muyu stood in the center of the lotus pond. His feet stepped on the surface of the water, but there were no ripples. He stood tall like a pine tree. The starlight continuously fell on his body and turned into his own. Lin Muyu took a deep breath and emptied his body and mind. He immersed himself in the starlight. The blood in his body slowly boiled, but it was not chaotic. It was the power of the blood-refining firmament that was suppressing the blood in his body. Today, Lin Muyu had already cultivated the blood-refining firmament to the extreme. After the 8th form of the star's arts, there was still the 9th form. It was also the most profound form of the star's arts. Lin Muyu had already memorized the mental cultivation method of the star's arts countless times over. He had also cultivated according to the mental cultivation method for many years. However, he had never broken through. His body slowly floated up along with the starlight. He was lying on his back in the lotus pond. The starlight plated his body. However, Lin Muyu's spiritual spirit seemed to have seeped into the starlight. Hua! The scene before his eyes suddenly brightened. It had actually turned into a peaceful land. White clouds lingered between the mountain ridges. The land was lush and green. There were plots of farmland, herds of cattle and sheep, and men and women weaving. The scene appeared and then disappeared again. Lin Muyu couldn't help but smile. He was in the middle of the war in the Blood Sea Purgatory. Now that he saw such a peaceful scene, he couldn't help but yearn for it. At this moment, the scene disappeared again and then reappeared. The scene of Miaojiang appeared in front of his eyes. It was a lake with rippling blue waves. There was a dense forest on the shore. There was a huge statue in the middle of the lake. It was a statue of a woman with a snake's tail. It was vivid and lifelike. Where is this? Lin Muyu walked on the water and walked under the statue. She looked up at the statue. There was an indescribable sense of familiarity. Rustle, the statue suddenly peeled off. The stone on the surface kept peeling off, revealing the bright skin underneath. In the blink of an eye, the woman in the statue had already woken up. She took a deep breath and opened her beautiful eyes to look at Lin Muyu. Her face was a little surprised. She said, "You are Lin Muyu?" "That's me." "You are?" Lin Muyu was stunned. How did this woman know her? The goddess smiled. "The world calls me Nuwa." "Nuwa?" Lin Muyu respectfully said, "Greetings, Lady Nuwa." "No need to stand on ceremony." Nuwa smiled a little and said, "Lin Muyu, do you know where this is?" Junior doesn't know. "This place isn't real, but it's the place I yearn for the most." Nuwa murmured, "This is the manifestation of my dreamscape, and also the reflection of the heavenly melody scroll. I call this place the heavenly melody dreamscape. Only the most sincere and kind-hearted people will come here. Before you, no one has been able to come here. Tell me, how did you do it?" Lin Muyu frowned and said, "Junior was cultivating the star arts. I think I accidentally entered the heavenly melody dreamland. Please don't blame me, lady." "Why would I blame you?" Nuwa smiled. Her smile was beautiful and charming. She said, "I seem to understand." "What do you understand, lady? Why did you find this place? Please enlighten me, lady." Nuwa smiled lightly. "It's actually very simple. The heavenly melody dreamland is the manifestation of my state of mind. You must have entered the dreamland during your cultivation. Your state of mind is connected to mine. This means that your wish is the same as mine. Now, tell me, what is your wish?" Lin Muyu thought of a small celebrity and said, "World peace." Nuwa chuckled. "This wish sounds strange and ridiculous, but it seems to be the truest representation of your heart. I know everything about you. You wish for peace and stability, but you are the one who initiated the war. You should also know that you are not the person that your state of mind yearns for, right?" "Yes." Lin Muyu stood on the surface of the water in a daze. He said, "I can't sleep at night. Almost every night, I can see scenes of slaughter in my dreams. I can hear the cries of those who have died. They ask me why I started this war and what I obtained by doing this." As she spoke, Lin Muyu slowly knelt down in the water. Her body trembled slightly as the invisible force of an elephant rippled around her, creating layers of ripples. Nuwa smiled gently and leaned over to hug him. She said, "Silly child, this is all your cultivation. If you don't start the war, more people will die because of it. You were born to fight, so why run away? People are born to experience all kinds of things, and everyone's experience is different. But the final destination is the same. This is reincarnation. If you can't see through this reincarnation, you will fall into pain. Even if you are the strongest in the world, you will still feel pain and blame yourself. Do you understand?" Lin Muyu stretched out his left hand. King's combat flames rose. He wanted to turn these flames into divine power. But his hand hurt so much that he couldn't complete the transformation. He said with a trembling voice, "I need more power to complete all this. Only then can I prevent the people I cherish from leaving because of war. I need power. Will the Mahayana Heavenly Tao approve of me?" "It will." Nuwa's voice was very gentle. She said, "The fact that you can enter my heavenly voice dreamland is enough to prove that you are the one chosen by the heavenly voice scroll. It's just that your opportunity hasn't come yet. Don't be impatient, don't be discouraged, and don't die. The 6 realms need your power. The mortal world you live in needs your power even more." "I understand." Lin Muyu slowly stood up and bowed. He said, "Thank you, goddess. Go now, we will meet again." Nuwa's figure slowly disappeared, and Lin Muyu's body also slowly left the dreamland and returned to reality. Ah! He abruptly woke up from his dream. He actually fell asleep in the middle of cultivation. This was simply unimaginable. But Lin Muyu quickly felt a new power surging in his body. What is this? He raised his hand, and strands of starlight gathered. The power was so strong that it even surpassed the blood-refining heavens. Let's give it a try first. He raised his palm and pointed it at the stone mountain not far away. Swish, 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 the stone mountain didn't crack, nor did it explode. But the stones quickly disintegrated into minerals, just like how they were formed. Wang! A light breeze blew past, and the entire stone mountain instantly disappeared. Wasn't this power a little too strong? Chapter 1191. Star Art's Ninth Style, Reincarnation. That's right, it must be it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such a strong power. Reincarnation, as the name suggests, heaven and earth send you to reincarnation. The stone just now was quickly decomposed into a mineral by the power of reincarnation. If the target of this style was a human, then it would probably be ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Mortals definitely wouldn't be able to withstand this world-destroying blow. As for the demon god, it was hard to say. After all, Lin Muyu's own power was limited, but killing Mara wasn't a problem. As the stone mountain collapsed and decomposed, the power of reincarnation also seemed to ripple. Soon, Tang Xiaoxi's door was pushed open. She walked out in a robe and said in surprise, "Mu, what happened just now? I felt a power that was enough to threaten me disappear in a flash." "Xiao Shi, you felt it too?" "Yes." Tang Xiaoxi nodded seriously. Tang Xiaoxi was an upright god. Even she felt threatened. It was enough to show how strong the power of reincarnation was. Lin Muyu couldn't help but be complacent. She walked forward and fastened the collar of her robe. "It's cold outside. Go back to sleep. What about you? I'll cultivate for a while. You and Xiao Yin sleep first. And don't stay up too late." "Okay." Looking at Tang Xiaoxi's concerned expression, Lin Muyu's heart warmed. With such a wife, what more could a husband ask for? Perhaps, for Tang Xiaoxi and Qin Yin, she had to become stronger. Black Rock City, the capital city of the Northern Heaven Realm. Currently, Black Rock City had fallen into chaos. Thousands of winged Mara hovered above the city. The city was densely packed with demon world armies. They had already attacked the city. This kind of chaotic battle lasted for 7 days and 7 nights, but they still couldn't take down the city. After all, there were still many elite soldiers under Dong Ming's command. She had been managing the Northern Heaven Realm for so many years, so it wouldn't be taken down in a short time. Until dusk, the main street was densely covered with the corpses of Mara. Most of them had been killed by a weapon called the 100-bend bow. This kind of 100-bend bow had astonishing destructive power. The arrowhead was refined from divine crystals, and it could kill god race members whose cultivation was not profound enough. Clearly, these Mara were the type whose strength was not profound enough. The sound of horse hooves came from the cold street. A group of cavalry wearing dark silver armor came out of the castle. They were once the divine race army of the Northern Heaven Realm. These warhorses were originally divine beasts, but now they had lost their divine power and were reduced to a 1,000-li horse. Among the crowd, Great Emperor Dongming was wearing armor and holding a long sword in his hand. He looked coldly at the dead on both sides of the road and said, "How many have we lost in this battle?" Dong Han respectfully said, "More than 3,000 people died and more than 7,000 Mara were killed." "Your Majesty, we haven't been completely defeated. Is this a victory?" "I'm afraid, ha ha ha." Dongming laughed sadly, "We only have more than 30,000 troops, but their Mara can't be killed completely. Haven't you heard the rumor that the demon world still has 50 million Mara? Before we kill them all, I'm afraid we will be exhausted. Besides, how many 100-bends bows are left?" "About 10,000. In the past 7 days, more than 40,000 hundred Ben's bows have been damaged due to overuse. There are very few people who can repair them now. Sigh, Dongming sighed and said, "Move away Mara's corpse. Don't let their demonic energy continue to invade the main castle. We must protect the spiritual energy in the divine winter treasured mirror. Otherwise, the Northern Heaven Realm's foundation will be gone. Your Majesty, should we take out the divine winter treasured mirror?" If necessary, the divine winter treasured mirror had astonishing destructive power. It was the #1 divine weapon in the Northern Heaven Realm. It was said that anyone who was shown by the divine winter treasured mirror would immediately turn into frost and be consigned to eternal damnation. However, everyone had only heard of it. No one had actually seen the divine winter treasured mirror. Just as the divine race soldiers were transporting the corpses, a sharp roar suddenly came from the sky. It was the dual-winged Mara. Very quickly, a black mass of dual-winged Mara arrived. "Retreat into the main castle, quickly!" Dongming shouted loudly. However, close to 5,000 cavalries were already outside the main castle. It was impossible for them to retreat in a short period of time. Furthermore, the dual-winged Mara came extremely fast. It quickly swept through the crowd, causing the cavalries to let out miserable roars. The sound of the 100 bend bow shooting to kill could be heard. One by one, the dual-winged Mara fell to the ground and died. However, they were like moths flying into a flame, charging forward wave after wave to kill. "Bastard!" Dongming pulled out his sword and roared angrily. He slashed out an ice spike from the sky. Peng peng peng, sounds of explosions could be heard. Although he did not have the cultivation of a god, Dongming was actually able to easily kill the dual-winged Mara. This was probably the reason why a starving camel was still bigger than a horse. After cultivating for so many years, Dongming's understanding of power far surpassed the average great perfection divine emperor. "This won't do, Your Majesty. There are more and more of them." Dong Han raised his sword and said, "I'll block them." "Your Majesty, quickly leave." On the street in the distance, a group of densely packed Mara pounced over. They were like a group of crazy dogs. However, they were not dogs. Their claws and teeth were enough to kill a god. Dongming brandished his sword and slashed with all his might. Dong Han led more than 1,000 people to set up a formation on the street to block them. Hong! A sword aura filled with devil flames rushed through the crowd and instantly killed many god race soldiers. It was a demon general with a long sword in his hand. His sword was unstoppable. In the blink of an eye, Dong Han's more than 1,000 people were cut in half. In an instant, the Northern Heaven Realm's military forces were unable to take care of themselves. "Dong Han!" Dongming shouted his brother's voice. However, in the blink of an eye, Dong Han and the others were already drowned by the Mara army. "Bastard! Bastard!" Dongming roared angrily. He suddenly raised his hand and shouted, "With my blood, I will exchange for your might. Master of the Northern Heaven Realm, Dongming, please move the divine winter mirror and help me in battle." Buzz buzz buzz, the resplendent light rose sharply, and the surrounding temperature instantly dropped by a lot. In the next moment, an illusory treasured mirror appeared in Dongming's hand. She raised it lightly, and a cold light shot out with a swoosh. The hundreds of devil luos in front of her turned into ice men in the blink of an eye, and they all fell to the ground and shattered. The light from the divine winter treasured mirror was so terrifying that the devil luos almost couldn't open their eyes. However, when the divine winter mirror appeared, all of the Mara went crazy. The demon general laughed out loud. Ancestor Emperor Ziyan said that as long as we obtain the divine winter mirror, we will immediately confer the title of Holy Emperor. Come on, little ones, snatch the divine winter mirror for me." The surroundings were filled with screeching sounds. Dongming waved the winter god's precious mirror and continuously killed the evil luos. However, How could she rely on the winter god's precious mirror to kill all the layers of evil luos in the surroundings? The surrounding god race soldiers fell to the ground one by one. Although Dongming killed countless Mara, his heart became colder and colder. Furthermore, the path to the main castle behind him had already been blocked by the black mass of Mara. Who could save the Northern Heaven Realm? Mahayana Heavenly Tao, why don't you save the Northern Divine Realm? Dongming wailed. 2 bloody wounds appeared on his shoulders. It was Mara's attack. The Divine Winter Mirror was a long-range attack divine artifact. Once it was closed in, it would be useless. Just as Dongming was in despair, a patch of green suddenly appeared on the surrounding ground. In the blink of an eye, a bunch of green vines shot towards the surrounding Mara like sharp swords. Puff puff puff, fresh blood splattered everywhere. Hundreds of Mara were killed in an instant. In the sky, a figure slowly descended. The light of one bright star floated in his hand. It was the 7 luminaries' demon emperor. He was dressed in golden armor and the divine king's cloak fluttered behind him. The corner of his mouth rose as he said with a smile, "I heard that someone here is calling for reinforcements." Dongming raised his head and looked at him. His tears almost came out. "Demon Emperor. What are you waiting for? Quickly save my little brother. All of you, retreat." The 7 luminaries' demon emperor turned around and looked at the countless Mara on the street. Suddenly, his divine might surged and he roared, "Clowns of the demon realm, all of you, scram!" Hong! A wave of divine power rushed out like a raging torrent, crushing Mara's body into pieces. However, it did not harm the god race army. This was probably the brilliance of the 7 luminaries' demon emperor. His understanding of power was even better than Dongming's. After the darkness passed, Dong Han, who was leading more than 300 Northern Heaven Realm warriors, was stunned. The 7 luminaries' demon emperor said, "Hurry up and enter the city. Do you think I can fight 100,000? Quickly! Quickly enter the main castle." Dongming roared and brought up the winter god's treasured mirror. The 7 luminaries' demon emperor stared at the winter god's treasured mirror and said, "Dongming, this small mirror looks very interesting. Where did it come from?" Dongming spurred his horse forward and said, "You guys have taken away the Northern Heaven Wheel. Don't even think about the winter god's treasured mirror. Just treat it as me begging you. There aren't many good treasures in the Northern Heaven Realm." Yo! The 7 luminaries' demon emperor smiled faintly. "That's not what you said when you and the Western Divine Realm conspired to attack our Eastern Heaven Realm. That was in the past. Times have changed. Why mention it again?" Dongming smiled bitterly. After entering the main castle, the gate quickly closed. The entrance of the castle was covered with 100 bend bows and was heavily guarded. Those Mara chased after them to the gate and then stopped. The main castle of the Northern Heaven Realm was like a huge spinning top. It was sealed and impossible to attack. If they attacked forcefully, it would be equivalent to sending themselves to death. The people of the demon realm were not that stupid. The main hall of the main castle was still filled with singing and dancing as usual. The young goddesses twisted their enchanting figures. Food and wine were served to the distinguished guest, the 7 luminaries' demon emperor. The demon emperor naturally did not refuse. He sat on the VIP seat, holding a wine glass in one hand and a goddess thigh in the other. He said, "F***ck, it's really too ecstatic. No wonder the Northern Heaven Realm was so weak." Dongming smiled awkwardly and said, "At least, the Northern Heaven Realm lasted longer than the East Heaven, right? That's because our Eastern Heaven Realm had to guard the 8 Desolation Realm, 6 Harmony Realm, and the Central Palace Realm. Our forces were too scattered, so we were defeated one by one. Otherwise, how could the Demon Realm succeed so easily?" Dongming smiled slightly. "I'm still grateful to the Demon Emperor for helping us in time. If you didn't come today, I'm afraid it would be the end of our northern heaven realm. The 7 luminaries Demon Emperor said, well said, well said. The demon realm invaded and they are a great enemy. Only by forming an alliance can we resist the power of the demon realm. Dongming, are you willing to form an alliance? This little brother is naturally very happy. Alright, as a show of sincerity for the alliance, that small mirror, don't even think about it. The Winter God's treasure mirror is the lifeline of the Northern Heaven realm. I definitely can't give it to you. Sigh, I originally planned to use this Winter God's treasure mirror as a gift to win Xiao's heart. Dongming glanced at him and said, if you really want to win Xiao's heart, then first remove the hand on that maid's leg. Dongming, you're still too shallow. The Demon Emperor smiled faintly. Do you know that there's a state called, the body is in chaos, but the heart is in chaos? Even if I'm like this, I only have Xiao in my heart. You don't understand at all. You playboy, I don't want to say anything more. Let's talk about the alliance. And, that small mirror. Chapter 1192. On the 10th of June, at the northern border of West Mountain Province, Feishu Pass. What was supposed to be a day of fluttering willow catkins was now snowing lightly. The soldiers were still dressed in thick winter clothes, their armors bulging. Outside the pass, drums rang out. It was the sound of the Shang army's drums of challenge. They're here again. Tang Jin frowned. This is the 3rd time. Every time, it's only 200 riders that come and go in a hurry. They flee the moment we exit the pass. What is the Shang army thinking? Feng Jixing brushed off the snow on the wall and smiled. I don't think Wu Chang and Sun Shi intend to fight for real. They're just bluffing. Send a letter to the other passes and tell them to be more vigilant. We're only making a feint here. Perhaps there will be a real attack elsewhere. We must keep each other informed and be ready to send reinforcements at any time. Yes, General Feng. Tang Jin turned and left. Feng Jixing narrowed his eyes and said, Zhang Wei, Lin Sun, what do you think Yang Shang is thinking? Why is he making a feint attack on our pass? Zhang Wei said casually, it's just as your highness said. They're just bluffing. Lin Sun frowned. Your highness, I'm afraid there's a deeper meaning to this. The Shang army's military advisor, Sun Shi, is not a man without a plan. He must have a reason for doing this. Oh? What could he be planning? This subordinate can't guess, but he must be trying to pin down the main force of our army here. Perhaps they have a large-scale heavenly book of the law of space. They can move the army to our rear and work together to break through the pass. Or they can directly attack the empty Shiping prefecture and catch us off guard. There's no need to worry about that. Feng Jixing smiled slightly. The number of people that the heavenly book of the laws of space can teleport is very few. A mere few hundred or a few thousand people will not be able to turn the tide of the battle. Don't forget, we have 100,000 people guarding Shiping City. Lin Sun said, then this subordinate can't guess Sun Shi's intentions. Pay close attention to their movements and the Celestial Empire's movements. That's the right thing to do. Yes. Feng Jixing tightened his cloak and walked down the steps. The weather is getting colder and colder. What kind of damned weather is this? I'm going to rest. You guys guard the place well. Take care, Your Highness. Looking at Feng Jixing's departing back view, Lin Sun smiled and said, Lord Zhang Wei, do you think that our Prince Xian has lost the confidence to fight against the kingdom of Shang? Why do you say that? Zhang Wei was puzzled. Otherwise, he would have revealed what I was thinking, but he didn't. His Highness knows how formidable that Sun Shi is. It said that the mobilization of the entire kingdom of Shang was handled by Sun Shi, so His Highness might be. Don't overthink it. Zhang Wei patted him on the shoulder and said with a smile, do you think that Prince Xian's strategy will lose to Sun Shi's? I don't think so. Ever since I joined the Imperial Guards, I've never seen Prince Xian truly suffer a loss. Even when sparring with His Highness, Prince Qin, he has never been at a disadvantage. Don't worry. How much trouble can a mere Sun Shi cause? Even so, we'll still have to be careful. Lord Lin Sun will be on duty tonight. Pay more attention to the situation inside and outside the pass. Alright. There were still no battles in Red Rock City. The bored Lin Muyu brought Tang Xiaoxi, Qin Yin, Wei Chou, and the others deep into the mountains to hunt. On one hand, she was killing time, on the other hand, she was exercising her limbs, and she was also taking the opportunity to hunt for some rations for the army. Mount Divine Deer was over 300 lis away from Red Rock City. Even hunters would rarely venture deep into the mountains like this. The accumulated snow had melted quite a lot, revealing the ground and allowing warhorses to pass through. For this trip, Lin Muyu and the others did not wear any robes or armor. They were lightly dressed. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi were dressed like two beautiful commoner ladies, while Lin Muyu and Wei Chou were dressed in dark blue clothes with animal skins around their waists. They looked like hunters. If it was not because the warhorses they were riding on were very majestic, others might really think that they were hunters. Quickly look over there. Tang Xiaoxi pointed into the distance and said, "There's a bird." As expected, there was an eagle perched on a branch, looking around. It definitely seemed to weigh 4 to 5 caddies and was rather plump. Qin Yin smiled and said, "It's about 200 meters away from us. Let's shoot together. Let's see who can hit it." Alright, Wei Chou is not allowed to shoot. Lin Muyu pulled out a white diamond arrow from the back of her horse. Wei Chou smiled but did not say anything. He only cupped his fists and bowed in agreement. If Wei Chou were to shoot together, he would definitely be the winner. In terms of archery, Qin Yin, Tang Xiaoxi, and Lin Muyu were all good archers. However, compared to Wei Chou, they were far inferior. Wei Chou's arm strength and accuracy were much stronger. Shwa shwa shwa, at the same time, 3 bowstrings sounded and the eagle perched on the branch fell to the ground. "I'll go take a look." Lin Muyu urged her horse forward and bent down to pick up the eagle from the ground. It was heavy and had a lot of meat. The eagle's body was pierced by an arrow, and there was a thin, Tang character carved on the shaft. It was actually shot by Tang Xiaoxi. As for Lin Muyu and Qin Yin, their arrows seemed to have missed. "It's Xiaoxi's prey." Lin Muyu raised the eagle and said with a smile, "It's at least 7 to 8 caddies. We already have a delicious meal to make soup for tonight." Wei Chou laughed and said, "Princess Xi's archery skills are indeed good." Tang Xiaoxi pursed her red lips and said with a smile, "Anyone can praise me, but Wei Chou, you can't. Once you do, it makes me feel like you're mocking me." "Huh, I won't praise you anymore, I won't praise you anymore." Wei Chou urged his horse forward, but he suddenly stopped smiling and said, "Milord, be careful behind us. Something seems to be slowly approaching us. It might be a ferocious beast." As expected, the sound of someone stepping on a short branch came from the hill behind Lin Muyu. A huge creature appeared there. It was a bear, a spiritual beast with 6 golden lines on its forehead. "Good fellow." Wei Chou said with a smile, "It's a flame bear, a spiritual beast that's naturally good at the power of the law of fire. A 6,000-year-old flame bear is rather rare." Roar! The flame bear on the hill roared angrily at Lin Muyu and the others. Flames continuously spewed out from its body. Obviously, this big guy was warning Lin Muyu and the others to step into its territory. Unfortunately, it didn't seem to know how powerful this group of people were, and it didn't know that there was actually a righteous god in this group of people. Si Kongyao said, "Brother, the flame bear is a good thing. Its fur is very valuable. It's said that it's very warm to wear in winter, even hot. Although the flame bear's meat is rough, it will be very fragrant when it's cooked." After eating it, it can resist the cold. The flame bear's blood contains the power of the law of fire. It can be used to make medicine and has a miraculous effect on frostbite. In that case, this big guy's whole body is a treasure? Lin Muyu smiled slightly. Who's going to get rid of it? Although it was a 6,000-year spiritual beast, to be honest, anyone present could easily get rid of it. After all, none of this group of people were easy to deal with. Wei Chou said, "Let me do it. Since the flame bear's fur is so good, then we must maintain the integrity of the bear's fur. This subordinate guarantees that an arrow will enter through the eye and pierce through the brain, but not through the skull, leaving no trace. Milord, please help me hold the line and attract the flame bear's attention." "All right." Lin Muyu urged her horse forward and lightly raised the Xian Yuan sword in her hand. She laughed mockingly, "Black bear, if you have the guts, fight me to the death." Roar roar. Facing the provocation, the flame bear flew into a rage, while Qin Yin, Tang Xiaoxi, and Si Kongyao smiled. It was rare to see Lin Muyu act like this, and it made Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi feel as if they had returned to the past. At that time, everyone didn't have so many burdens, and their lives were incomparably free. "You're courting death." Lin Muyu's arm lightly shook, and immediately, the profound energy of the chaotic star danced chaotically under the horse's hooves. It looked like it was about to explode, but this was only to attract the flame bear's attention. The real killing move wasn't the chaotic star, but an arrow that flew past Lin Muyu's shoulder. Pfft! An arrow entered the brain, and just like what Wei Chou said, the 6,000-year-old flame bear fell straight down with a miserable groan. Its body twitched a few times, and it died. A few Imperial guards cheered, "Great archery, guard commander." Wei Chou cupped his fists and laughed, "Quickly go and get the blood. A bowl of the flame bear's blood can be diluted to make over 1,000 bottles of frostbite medicine. This is a great treasure." "Yes." A few Imperial guards went forward one after another, took out empty water bags, and used their sharp swords to cut open the flame bear's skin on its abdomen, and started to get the blood. The blood seemed to be endless, and in the blink of an eye, 7 to 8 water bags were filled, and all of them were hung on the horse's back. They only brought 4 Imperial guards, so Wei Chou decided to do it himself. He pulled out the dagger on his waist, and started to skin the flame bear on the spot. After skinning it, he dissected it, and most of the meat was stored in the space bag. Otherwise, the war horse might not be able to bear the weight. This bear was at least 500 to 600 kilograms, and no war horse could carry it for a long period of time. Looking at the sky, Lin Muyu said, "Let's find a place to rest. It's going to be dark soon. Once night falls, the swift wolf pack will come out to look for food. At that time, I'm afraid that once we are targeted, it will be very troublesome." Yes. It was very difficult to find a campsite in the mountains. After sunset, everyone finally found a place to rest in a kernel. They set up tents, lit a bonfire, and started to cook dinner. There were many hunters along the way. Wild rabbits, deer, falcons, and fat fish from the river were all there. Just the prey that Wei Chou hunted was close to a ton, and all of them were in the space bag. Therefore, there were 5 pots of food for dinner. There were things that flew in the sky, ran on the ground, and swam in the water. Since they were out to relax and train, it was also very important to eat well. The fat fish was tender, and the falcon's meat was delicious. Therefore, Lin Muyu ate 4 big bowls of food. Then, she leaned against the tent and took a nap complacently. Meanwhile, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi went into the tent to lay the bedding and wait. At that moment, Wei Chou looked to the north vigilantly, and said, "It seems like someone is coming. It's so deep in the mountains." "I'm afraid it's not a human," Lin Muyu said with a smile. Si Kongyao giggled. "Why does it sound creepy?" In the dark, an Imperial guard walked over quickly with a warhorse. He said, "Your Highness, there are a few people over there. They claim that they are lost merchants. Their fire sticks are wet from the snow, and they want to borrow our fire sticks. Oh. Let them come over. Lin Muyu chuckled. They're robbing us. Let's take a look first. Chapter 1193. Big brother, how can you be sure that they aren't merchants? Si Kongyao was confused. Lin Muyu smiled and said, it's simple. Firstly, it hasn't snowed in the Red Rock province for 3 days, so how could their fire sticks be wet? Secondly, this is a barren mountain, so it's impossible to transport goods. As merchants, they can't possibly walk a few hundred miles without taking the official road. Thirdly, they don't even have horses, so how are they going to transport goods? They can't possibly be merchants. Fourthly, there's a smell on their bodies. I can sense it with my spiritual pulse technique, a very disgusting smell. What is that smell? The foul smell of the Fox clan. Lin Muyu grinned. Si Kongyao pouted, what the hell? At this moment, Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi also came out of the tent. Tang Xiaoxi asked, Mu, do you need me to help? No need, it's just a few demon spirits. Lin Muyu stood up and placed her hand on the sword on her waist. She casually walked over with a few royal guards. Under the light of the bonfire, there were a total of 3 people. They were all merchants with fierce gazes. The one leading them was a man with a mustache. He walked forward and said in a rather standard manner, we are lost merchants. We can't light a fire at night, so we would like to borrow your fire. Please, don't reject us. Oh, go get your own fire. Lin Muyu pointed at the bonfire behind her. Thank you. The 3 of them quickly walked towards the bonfire. However, their gazes fell on the tents and the horses tied to the trees. They instantly revealed greedy expressions and walked faster and faster. The man with a mustache at the front suddenly roared. Fur appeared on his palms and sharp claws extended from his fingertips. He angrily roared and charged at Si Kongyao. He probably felt that this gentle girl was easy to bully. However, Si Kongyao wasn't gentle at all. The sword on her waist turned into a cold light and shot out. Pung! The small mustache man was forced to retreat again and again. His body suddenly expanded, turning into the appearance of a male demon fox, while the other 2 attacked Lin Muyu together. The cold light of their sharp claws was very frightening. Lin Muyu's speed was even faster. The sword light suddenly jumped up, and with 2 kacha-kacha sounds, the 2 arms had already fallen to the ground. The Xianyuan sword is so sharp that the demon spirits in the mortal realm can't resist it at all. The 2 demon foxes let out hissing sounds at the same time. Their gazes were fierce. After being injured, they seemed to have become even more violent. Lin Muyu didn't want to waste any more time. She suddenly opened her palm and a mighty force flowed in the air. The moment the starlight burst out, the 2 demon spirits were instantly evaporated, turning into dust that fell on the snowy ground. The power of the 9th style of the star scripture was indeed extraordinary. At this time, Si Kongyao had already stepped on the neck of the small mustache man, pinning him to the ground. She raised her sword and was ready to stab him in the heart. Yao, wait. Si Kongyao was stunned. Don't kill him first. Lin Muyu walked forward and stabbed the Xianyuan sword into the soil beside the small mustache man. She asked, who are you? Aren't the demon spirit clan in the forest of no return? Why did you come to the Red Rock province? I. His whole body trembled. Seeing the tragic death of his 2 companions, he was already scared out of his wits. He said with a trembling voice, I was originally one of the demon lords in the forest of no return, but a month ago, after the demon spirit clan's internal strife, I was stranded in the Red Rock province's forest. Please spare my life. Internal strife? Lin Muyu frowned. Back then, the demon emperor of the Forest of No Return, Nushi, made 3 rules with us. From now on, the demon spirit clan won't harm humans. You violated the rules. Aren't you afraid that Nushi will kill you? No, the demon emperor won't punish me. He shook his head and said, a month ago, the demon emperor was no longer Nushi, but Swearin. Who's Swearin? One of the 4 great demon kings, the current demon emperor. The Qin state invaded the celestial pole continent and caused great chaos, but Nushi asked us to live in the Forest of No Return. Thus, the 4 great demon kings couldn't stand it and weren't willing to let go of this heaven-sent opportunity, so they strongly advised Nushi against it. They didn't expect Nushi to oppose it, so Swearin joined forces with the other 3 demon kings and launched an internal strife, pushing Nushi down from the throne and replacing her as the demon emperor. This way, he could cooperate with the people of the Celestial Empire. Damn it! Lin Muyu was infuriated and asked, where is Nushi now? Exiled, exiled? Impossible. If Nushi was exiled, she would definitely come to find me. The demon lord laughed bitterly. Indeed, she hasn't been exiled, but placed under house arrest in the demon spirit sacred altar in the Forest of No Return. Nushi's reputation is too high, so Demon Emperor Swearin doesn't dare to kill her and can only place her under house arrest. Then, which side are you on? Are you loyal to Nushi or Swearin? I'm one of the 100 demon lords conferred by Demon Emperor Swearin. Young hero, let me go. As long as you let me go, I'm willing to give you all my wealth and let you enjoy endless glory and wealth. There's no need. Did Swearin send you to Hongyan province? Yes, Demon Emperor Swearin ordered us to enter Hongyan province and inquire about the situation there. Originally, I planned to let you take me to save Demon Emperor Nushi, but now, it seems that there's no need. Just go. Young hero, what do you mean? Do you know Her Majesty Nushi? Who are you? What do you want to do? Did I say something wrong? Young hero, why do you want to kill me? You can ask your blockhead about these questions after you leave. With a flash of sword light, the demon venerable's head rolled onto the snowy ground. The 3 demon venerables had all died here. Lin Muyu shook her arm lightly, dispelling the blood on her blade. She walked to the side of the tent and said, Xiao Yin, I'm afraid we can't return to Hongyan City directly. We have to go to the Forest of No Return and save Demon Emperor Nushi. Otherwise, the Demon Spirit clan will definitely become the pawns of the Celestial Empire. When that happens, it'll be even more disadvantageous for us. The 3 just now, were they all demon lords? Yes. Lin Muyu sighed. After Tian Fa, the power of the demon spirit clan has been greatly weakened. These demon lords were originally very strong, but now they can't even withstand a single blow. I think it's because their power has been weakened that Nushi was placed under house arrest. Otherwise, with her strength, who would be able to put her under house arrest? Si Kongyao said, this place is only slightly more than 200 miles away from the Forest of No Return and about 400 miles away from the Demon Spirit Clan's sacred altar. If we go at full speed, we should be able to arrive in a day. Do we need to travel at night? No need. Lin Muyu looked behind her and said, Wei Chou, tomorrow at dawn, you will return to Red Rock City with the Imperial Guards to guard the city. I, Xiao Yin, Xiao Shi, and Yao will go to the Forest of No Return. It's not good to have too many people. After all, it's the Demon Spirit Clan's territory. When do you plan to leave, milord? We will rest for 2 hours and set off at night. I will summon a Catasaurus. A Catasaurus is enough to carry 4 people to the Forest of No Return. We will arrive in an hour and find Nushi before dawn. Alright, please be careful. After resting for a while, Lin Muyu and the others were ready to set off. After summoning a Catasaurus, only Lin Muyu, Qin Yin, and Si Kongyao needed to fly with a Catasaurus. Tang Xiaoxi could just fly with them. In the night sky, the land was pitch black. There was not a single ray of light in the forest and wilderness. With Acatosaurus's flying speed, the distance of 500 miles was covered in less than an hour. Lin Muyu and the others almost froze into ice lumps. It was too cold in the middle of the night. After flying into the forest of no return, it was still snowing. Although the snow was not heavy, it became a natural protective barrier. Looking down at the ground, Qin Yin opened her eyes of blazing light and saw stars in the forest. Those were the light condensed by the demon spirit race's original spiritual power. Demon Emperor Nushi's power must have been sealed. How to find her would depend on Qin Yin's eyes of blazing light. The headquarters is over there. Si Kongyao pointed into the distance. Lin Muyu frowned and said, "If we descend from the sky, it will definitely cause chaos. The demon spirit race has tens of thousands of members. We can't use force. We can only land far away and walk over. Is there anything we can hide?" Si Kongyao giggled and said, "That's simple. Brother, pretend to be a demon venerable and stick a hair on your cheek. Then, tie the three of us up with a rope and say that we are the spoils of war you brought back. We will give it to that demon emperor Swearin first. When we see Swearin, subdue him and order him to take us to see Nushi. This way, we can achieve our goal of saving people." "Good plan." Lin Muyu smiled and immediately patted Acatosaurus's head and said, "Fly over there and land." In the curtain of snow, the four of them landed. Lin Muyu looked for ropes in his universe bag. In the end, he only found some ropes that could be used as horse reins. He could only use this as a rope. He quickly tied the three girls' hands. When he tied Tang Xiaoxi's hands, Tang Xiaoxi's face turned red and she asked, "Are we still going to play with this in the future?" Lin Muyu's face also turned red and said, "This. We'll talk about it when we get back." Si Kongyao's face was blank, but Qin Yin was not surprised at all. Not long after, Lin Muyu led the three beauties down the hill. At the bottom of the hill was the headquarters plaza. There were piles of bonfires, and there were guards and some high-level demon spirits standing guard. "Stop." As expected, the moment they entered the plaza, they were stopped by a guard. "Who are you? I can't lose in terms of momentum." Lin Muyu opened her mouth and scolded, "Are you stupid? You don't even recognize me? One of the 100 demon venerables personally conferred by Demon King Swearin. Are you an idiot? You." The guard that looked like a bear was startled and hurriedly knelt down and said, "This lowly one greets demon venerables. I have eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai, please forgive me." "Forget it, I won't argue with you." Lin Muyu secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Sure enough, Swearin conferred 100 demon venerables. She knew that these little pawns wouldn't be able to recognize all of them. There were so many demon venerables, who could recognize all of them? "Get up, it's fine now. Take me to see Demon King Swearin. I brought back 3 human beauties to present to Demon King Swearin. Oh, Lord, please come this way." This was too easy. The demon spirit race's guard was so lax. Putting aside the fact that the night patrol didn't have a password, the demon the Arch could also be seen as he wished. It was no wonder that Nu Shi's power was seized by a mutiny. When I return, I must lecture her properly and teach her a set of human leadership skills. Chapter 1194. The path of the altar was very flat. Although it was late at night, there were still many demon spirits patrolling. Even the demon monarch Swearin was not resting. The entire demon spirit race made Lin Muyu feel inexplicably strange. Following closely behind the guard, the 4 of them carefully came to the front of the altar. Looking up, they were surprised to find that it was a huge building built on the mountainside. More than a dozen huge stone pillars supported the weight of the altar, and the high walls were carved with lifelike evil beasts. It looked strange and eerie, indescribably disgusting. Lin Muyu frowned. She held Qin Yin's hand and signaled the three beauties to be careful. At the entrance of the sacred altar, a demon king transformed into a general. He raised his hand and berated, "Guard, why are you here? Who is the person behind you?" The guard quickly knelt down and said, "Lord Demon King, the one behind us is one of the 100 demon venerables. As for the three women, they were captured by him from the commoners and offered to the demon monarch Swearing." "Oh." The demon king raised his brows and smiled, "This demon venerable looks unfamiliar. Is he new here?" Lin Muyu respectfully said, "Yes." "Hey, the three women, raise your head. Let me have a look first." Hearing the demon king's words, Qin Yin, Tang Xiaoxi, and Si Kongyao raised their heads. The demon king was startled and said, "There are such beauties in this world. Great, the demon monarch Swearing will be overjoyed." "Ha ha ha. Don't say anything, follow me." Lin Muyu was relieved. It seemed like the three beauties' beauty was useful. It was like a passport. Nowadays, people were judging people by their appearance. Even the demon spirit race's headquarters was like this. After entering the hall, there was a person sitting on a throne in the distance. There were 4 demonic venerable level guards beside him. The light was dim, and it was difficult to see the person's appearance. However, he looked very short, not as sturdy as the demonic king from before. "Your Majesty." The demon king respectfully said, "This demon venerable has brought 3 beauties to your Majesty. Please accept them." "Oh." The person on the throne slowly stood up and walked down the stairs step by step. As expected, he was only about 1.5 meters tall. With the light from the lantern, Lin Muyu could see that his face was very skinny with a protruding mouth and monkey cheeks. However, his eyes were shining brightly and his body was surrounded by a faint demonic spiritual energy. This demon emperor's cultivation was not low and even made Lin Muyu feel a trace of threat. "Demon sovereign, what's your name?" The Swearing demon monarch's gaze swept past the 3 girls and landed on Lin Muyu. "Demon sovereign, what's your name?" Lin Muyu didn't say anything. She hadn't thought of this at all. Swearing demon monarch continued, "I've never seen you among the demon sovereigns. You don't belong to this forest of no return, right?" Lin Muyu's killing intent had already been aroused. She pulled out the Xianyuan sword with a gentle wave of her hand, flew up, and infused the 6 elements tribulation profound energy into the long sword, striking at Swearing demon emperor like a thunderbolt. "Damn it!" Swearing roared in anger. Scales began to appear on his fist as he suddenly punched at the Xianyuan sword. Bam! The two were blasted apart. Lin Muyu took a few steps back. The Xianyuan sword was actually shaken off, and there was a faint feeling of numbness in her arm. But the Swearing demon monarch wasn't any better. Blood kept dripping from his fist as he shouted with a fierce and domineering gaze, "Who are you? What are you doing in my demon spirit clan?" Behind him, Qin Yin easily subdued the demon king, while Tang Xiaoxi killed the 4 guards with the power of a righteous god. Only the demon emperor Swearing was left in the entire hall, and he was the only general left. Lin Muyu smiled with her sword in hand. "I heard you plotted to force Nu Shi to abdicate and pushed her down from the throne. I'm here to avenge my friend." "You're Lin Muyu. You know me?" "I don't just know you. Who in the entire demon spirit clan doesn't know you? Die, brat." The Swearing demon monarch leaped up and punched down with both fists with great force. The person who could force Nu Shi to abdicate was indeed capable. Lin Muyu didn't dare to use Samsara as it was too lethal. She was afraid of accidentally killing Swearing, so she used 5 elements 8 Wasteland's annihilation. Pang! After another heavy blow, Tang Xiaoxi couldn't stand it anymore. She held the flame of destruction in her hand and flew over with a cold gaze. "Swearing, if you don't obey us, you'll die." The flame of destruction surged, creating ripples in the hall. The biting cold divine might caused the stone slabs on the ground to crack and fly up. The scene was very frightening. Soaring had never seen such power before. His knees went soft and he knelt on the ground. You broke into the main altar of the demon spirit clan. What do you want? Take us to see Nu Shi. Lin Muyu said indifferently. You really want to see Nu Shi? Yes. All right then. A sly smile flashed across Soaring's mouth, but it didn't escape Lin Muyu's eyes. However, since they were already here, they might as well make the best of it. They had to find Nu Shi no matter what. Otherwise, it would be very disadvantageous to the Qin Empire if they lost this powerful ally. Creak, the Soaring demon monarch pushed open a secret door behind him. Suddenly, cold wind whistled in. This secret door actually led to the back of the mountain outside. A dark and silent path appeared in front of them. There wasn't even a lantern or a guard along the way. This was incredible. What, you don't dare to come? Soaring's eyes flashed with sarcasm. Lin Muyu smiled. Why wouldn't I dare? Lead the way. Okay. The Soaring demon monarch walked straight ahead. Lin Muyu glanced at the three girls and whispered, I feel something is wrong. Be careful, it might be a trap. Tang Xiaoxi nodded. I also feel it's a trap. This mountain, there's something fishy. Shao Shi, you are a principal deity. Can you feel anything? There's something unusual about this mountain. Tang Xiaoxi's eyes were as clear as water. I feel that it's hiding some kind of power, but as for what it is, I can't tell. Maybe we can only know when we see it. Well, let's go. Let's see Nu Shi first. Although Lin Muyu was a little apprehensive, there was a saying that things would eventually sort themselves out. There was no point in letting her imagination run wild. She could only understand what had happened to the demon spirit race after seeing the demon the arch, Nu Shi. The wind and snow blew on their bodies. The four slowly followed the Soaring demon monarch up the mountain. There wasn't even a single guard along the way. It didn't make sense. Logically speaking, the place where the demon monarch Nu Shi was imprisoned shouldn't be so lightly guarded, right? Just when Lin Muyu was feeling uneasy, they arrived at the mountain. A wooden house stood under a huge rock. It was very tranquil and even, a little creepy. Nu Shi is in the house. If you want to see her, go ahead. The Soaring demon monarch's eyes flickered with pride. Lin Muyu frowned and suddenly made a move. The tip of the Xianyuan sword scabbard struck the demon monarch's spine. With a pang sound, one of his meridians was severed. Without waiting for him to speak, Lin Muyu waved her battle chi at her fingertips, and with three shwa 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 sounds, 3 more meridians were severed from the demon monarch's body. Instantly, the demon monarch fell to the ground, howling in pain. Big brother, why? Si Kongyao was stunned. No matter what happened inside, he is definitely not a good person. Cripple him just in case. Lin Muyu said plainly. Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi didn't say anything. Lin Muyu did the right thing. He was the commander-in-chief of the 3 armies and was used to doing things in a storm of bullets. If he couldn't do it swiftly and decisively, he would be a burden to the 3 armies. Creak, Lin Muyu pushed open the door of the wooden house and immediately saw the light from the brazier. The space inside the wooden house was extremely large and was not inferior to the size of a side hall. A nearly 10-meter-long staircase led to the throne at the end of the house. The throne was decorated with gold and gems. It was much more beautiful than the throne in the holy altar. A woman was sitting on the throne. It was the demon monarch Nu Shi. Nu Shi? Lin Muyu frowned. He could see clearly that the demon monarch Nu Shi wasn't restrained at all. There wasn't even a rope to tie her up. Behind him, Qin Yin, Tang Xiaoxi, and Si Kongyao were also surprised. Everything here was way beyond their imagination. Under the illumination of the brazier, Nu Shi was still as beautiful as before. She still had a sexy figure and a pipa beside the throne. She crossed her long legs and looked at Lin Muyu indifferently. Her eyes were actually flashing with ruthlessness and determination. "Yo, Emperor Qin is finally here." Nu Shi smiled and said, "I have been waiting for you for a long time." "Nu Shi, what do you mean?" Lin Muyu frowned and asked, "Did you lure us here on purpose?" "No, I didn't lure you here. You guys came here on your own." Nu Shi was still sitting on the throne. She said indifferently, "I didn't expect the high and mighty Emperor Qin to be concerned about the life and death of others. This is a little surprising." "Lin Muyu," Qin Yin said, "Nu Shi, what exactly did you experience?" "Wow, Her Highness is here too." Nu Shi giggled and stood up from the throne. However, black energy chains were pulling her body from the ground. Almost every important part of her body was embedded with a faintly discernible chain. It was as though her entire body was firmly locked to the ground. "What is that?" Lin Muyu was stunned. "Demon sealing chain." Nu Shi giggled and said, "Did Emperor Qin just see it?" "What is the demon sealing chain?" "It's a kind of self-sealing method that allows me to seal the demonic flames in my body." Nu Shi laughed heartily. Her eyes were filled with ruthlessness and evil. The demon sealing chain around her suddenly collapsed. Streaks of demonic flames flew out of her body and danced around her. Nu Shi's aura instantly became incomparably powerful. It actually forced Lin Muyu, Tang Xiaoxi, and the others to continuously retreat. It was unknown when she had been sealed. Furthermore, her strength was definitely not below that of a high god like Wu Chang. Chapter 1195. Nu Shi, are you crazy? Lin Muyu shouted in a low voice, "What are you going to do?" "What am I going to do?" Nu Shi smiled proudly, "Kill you, what else can I do? Only by killing you will I feel happy, only by killing you will I feel happy, only by killing you will I have the joy of revenge." "Mu, Xiao-yin, step back." Tang Xiaoxi suddenly took a step forward, the raging flames around her soared into the sky, instantly rushing out of the hut, condensing into a flame wall in front of her, protecting Qin Yin and Lin Muyu from harm. "Yo, the righteous god of Mahayana heavenly Tao." Nu Shi giggled, "This is the first time I have seen an righteous god, but this power seems to be just so. Tang Xiaoxi, it was not easy for you to become an righteous god, do you want to destroy it now?" Tang Xiaoxi looked straight at her, "I don't care who you are, if you want to harm them, you have to pass through me first." "Fine, you want to die." Nu Shi smiled slightly, but the devil flames around her became more and more biting cold, the whole mountain peak was illuminated by the devil flames, the scorching flames turned into monstrous flames, crushing down. Tang Xiaoxi clenched her teeth, activating the strongest breaking flame in her body to resist Nu Shi's attack, only to see the air above constantly colliding with the violent sound of air flow. The whole mountain range was shaking, the ground slowly burst open, boulders flew up as if they were freed from gravity, the whole domain has begun to become chaotic. Nu Shi held the devil flames in her hand, the corner of her mouth was full of a sinister smile. "Tang Xiaoxi, how long can you last?" Tang Xiaoxi also smiled, "It's not how long I can last, but how long can you last?" With that, she suddenly waved the breaking flame in her hand. Immediately a flame wave swept forward, the devil flames met the breaking flame in time. Nu Shi immediately groaned, spitting out a mouthful of blood. She was injured. In terms of divine power, she was still inferior to Tang Xiaoxi. For a moment, her face was full of viciousness. For a moment, she roared, "Why? Why?" Tang Xiaoxi was bathed in flames as she walked over with the Zhurong sacred fire sword in hand. She had a calm expression on her face as she said, "Nu Shi, you've fallen too deeply into the demonic path. No one can save you. Let me release you from purgatory, Xiaoxi, don't. Lin Muyu hurriedly said, don't kill her, let her live. Tang Xiaoxi was startled, biting her red lips, Boundless flames soared into the sky, and the entire forest of no return was illuminated by this battle. The demonic flames became weaker and weaker under the suppression of the broken flame. Nu Shi, who was in the midst of the demonic flames, looked up at the sky and roared, Purple Flame Ancestor Emperor, what are you waiting for? Lend me a hand. Tang Xiaoxi was stunned. Lin Muyu felt a strong force coming from the sky, shouting, Xiaoxi, be careful. Swoosh! A golden light pierced through the clouds, turning into the image of a tower, falling down. The target was locked onto Tang Xiaoxi, the cold invisible energy came crashing down. Pang! The mountain began to completely collapse, rocks flew down like rain. Woo woo woo, Tang Xiaoxi activated her strongest fire breaking to resist the power of the god-exterminating tower. However, how could she resist it? After a few seconds, she knelt on the ground with a whimper and vomited blood. She actually lost consciousness in the blink of an eye. Dang! Nu Shi kicked away Zhu Rong's sacred fire sword, stepped on Tang Xiaoxi's back with her left foot, and sneered, so what now? Your principal god has become a piece of trash, what other abilities do you have? B****. Lin Muyu rushed over, the two swords contained a cold destructive aura, it was the power of reincarnation. Oh! Nu Shi pouted her lips and looked rather shocked. She raised the devil flame in her left hand and swept it across Lin Muyu's body like a steel wall. There was a huge disparity in strength between the two. It was just a simple attack and Lin Muyu was sent rolling on the ground. Her face was covered in blood. It was obviously impossible to rely on the king's combat flame to fight against the devil flame. Let go of Xiaoxi. Qin Yin held the Donghua sword, rushed into the flames without a care, endured the burning pain, and slashed out a merciful attack. Nu Shi opened her palm and forcefully grabbed the blade of the Donghua sword. The devil flames followed the blade and pressed towards Qin Yin, instantly swallowing up Qin Yin's body. She fell to the ground in pain, her body trembling. Si Kongyao's attack from behind also failed to stop Nu Shi, and she was sent flying by her palm, vomiting blood. Let them go. Lin Muyu was covered in injuries, stood up with the help of the long sword, and walked towards Nu Shi shakily. The devil flames on the ground burned him, but he still walked forward, and said in a low voice, Nu Shi, you used to be so kind, why did you take this step? Let them go, I beg you, I beg you. Nu Shi's pair of arrogant beautiful eyes had a trace of disdain. Why should I let them go just because you begged me? Where were you when Duo La led the Divine Feather Battalion to kill my demonic spirit race? Where were you when Sun Shi set fire to the wild boar forest and killed 100,000 of my demonic spirit race? You, the Qin Emperor, only cared about fighting your own battles. Did you think of our demonic spirit race? I really don't know. Lin Muyu gritted her teeth, I really don't know about these. It's fine if you don't know, but it's too late to say anything. Nu Shi's eyes were filled with disdain, and she laughed, you can continue to pretend to be a good person, but I can no longer go back. I've become a devil, and it's impossible for me to go back, ha ha ha, why can't you go back? You can go back after you put down the butcher's knife. Can you? Nu Shi had a pitiful look, and she laughed, Lin Muyu, you were once one of the divine kings of the Eastern Heaven realm, do you know what the devil path is? What do you think darkness is like? Lin Muyu, Nu Shi sneered, and said, let me tell you what it means to fall into the devil path. That is, everything I cherish has been shattered. More than half of my treasured clansmen have died, and I am clean. The body that I cherished for many years has been made with those unknown demons in the devil path. In order to obtain power, I can give up everything, and even my body is no longer clean. How do you think I should go back? Lin Muyu still walked forward step by step, and said, I'm sorry, but this is my fault, please let go of Qin Yin and Tang Xiaoxi, they are not in the wrong, no, they are in the wrong. Nu Shi said indifferently, they are by your side, and this is their fault. On the ground, Tang Xiaoxi suddenly let out a whimper, and her aura had already become very weak. Qin Yin was not much better, her entire body was burned red by the devil flames, and her protective aura was about to collapse. Lin Muyu panted heavily, and came in front of Nu Shi. She looked at her, and suddenly raised the Xian Yuan sword, and said indifferently, let them go. Why, do you want to kill me? Nu Shi laughed. The Xian Yuan sword quickly fell. Clang! Nu Shi's palm grabbed the Xian Yuan sword like an iron pincer, and grabbed it with a turn of her hand. She sneered, Lin Muyu, I originally thought that there was friendship between us, but now it seems, my life is like grass in front of you, and you can take my life at any time, right? What right do you have for me to let you go? She raised her sword, and said with a smile, the legendary Lin Muyu died under your own Xian Yuan sword, how ironic is this? The power in Lin Muyu's body was almost exhausted, and she stood there blankly, and closed her eyes, then at least. I can die in front of them, I'll fulfill your wish. Nu Shi smiled coldly. At this moment, a soft but firm voice came from the side, you are not allowed to kill him. I will not allow you to kill him, the one who spoke was Qin Yin. Buzz buzz buzz, under her feet, rays of golden light revolved, and each ray of light was formed by very small golden characters. Those were ancient characters. The sky thundered, and this aura was very familiar. Another Mahayana heavenly Tao righteous god? Nu Shi looked at Qin Yin indifferently, and said with a smile, then I'll kill you first. Hong! The Xian Yuan sword fell down with the devil flames. However, Qin Yin opened her palm, and a bright golden light burst forth. A newborn dragon crystal blocked the Xian Yuan sword slash, and its power was actually not inferior to Nu Shi's. The wind and clouds in the sky surged, and the golden light continuously gathered into the shape of the heavenly sound scroll. Another new righteous god was about to appear, and this time, it was Qin Yin. Without waiting for Nu Shi to react, Qin Yin suddenly rushed forward, and her right fist was filled with the power of the dragon crystal, and she heavily punched Nu Shi's lower abdomen. With a groan, Nu Shi couldn't even hold the Xian Yuan sword anymore, and her body retreated tens of meters, causing the space to distort. Her face was pale, and she vomited a mouthful of blood. She looked up at Qin Yin, and said indifferently, I pray. Ancestor Emperor Ziyan, please use the god-destroying pagoda to kill this new god. However, there was only the heavenly sound scroll in the sky, and there was no longer the light of the god-destroying pagoda. Obviously, every time the god-destroying pagoda was activated, it would consume the demon realm's energy. It needed time to store energy, and it couldn't be released indefinitely. Boom, boom, boom. Bolts of golden lightning descended from the sky, and a strong wind blew. The original form of goddess Nuwa appeared in the sky, and she looked at Qin Yin with a gentle expression, and said, Qin Yin, you are kind, talented, and have obtained the recognition of the heavenly sound scroll. Now, I will bestow upon you the second-grade superior deity Dharma body, and the title of graceful goddess. You will be in charge of the order of the three realms, and I will bestow upon you the power of order. I hope that you will do your best to protect the Mahayana heavenly Tao for all living beings in the world. Qin Yin had become a god. Looking at the original form of goddess Nuwa in the sky, Qin Yin bit her red lips, and wanted to cry, but no tears came out. She turned around, knelt on the ground, and helped Tang Xiaoxi up. Xiaoxi, are you okay, Xiaoxi? Tang Xiaoxi heaved a sigh of relief. Although she was still unconscious, her life was not in danger. The demon Empress Nushi's body slowly flew up, and she stopped in mid-air. She looked at Lin Muyu from afar, and said, it feels good to have two goddesses protecting you, right? Lin Muyu frowned, and said, you didn't have to walk the path of diabolism. Is that so? Nushi chuckled, do you think I had a choice? At the side, Qin Yin clenched her teeth, and wall-shaped divine power, which was unique to the graceful goddess, surrounded her. She said word by word, you fell into the path of diabolism because of hatred, and you harmed others because of grievances. You clearly had a choice, but you chose the most vicious path. Everything is just an excuse for your cowardice, and you blame others for your evil deeds. This is just your selfish reason. As she spoke, Qin Yin opened her hand, and the East Flower sword was instantly sucked back into her hand. The cyclone danced, and her robe fluttered in the wind. She said in a low voice, Brother Yu, take good care of Xiao Shi, I'll go get rid of her. No, Xiao Yin, Lin Muyu shook her head, and said, forget it, don't kill her. I owe her. In the air, Nushi sneered, don't think that I will be grateful to you like this. Lin Muyu, just you wait for my revenge. In the blink of an eye, Nushi whizzed away. Why don't you let me kill her? Qin Yin was puzzled, and said, in the future, she is destined to become our great enemy. If I kill her here, I will regret it for the rest of my life. Lin Muyu looked at the charred ground silently, and said, I will bring her back the way she got lost. If I can't, I will kill her myself. Actually, Si Kongyao walked over while holding her abdomen, and said, actually, she had many opportunities to kill Brother Yu just now, but she didn't. Chapter 1196. After Nu Shi was defeated, she left the forest of no return and was never heard from again. It was said that she went to the Celestial Empire because Chen Yu had promised that as long as Nu Shi was willing to surrender to the Celestial Empire, he would let bygones be bygones. Moreover, the Celestial Empire had the two demon gods, Ku Yu and Song Liangcheng, and they were given important tasks. This was enough to prove that Chen Yu had already compromised with the demon realm. As long as he could obtain power and maintain the status of the Celestial Empire, there was nothing Chen Yu couldn't do. There were still 150,000 demon tribes left in the forest of no return. More than a third of them had followed Nu Shi to the Heavenly Jew Empire overnight. The rest of them were all in a mess. It wasn't until dawn that Lin Muyu sorted out the situation. After Nu Shi left, the demon spirit tribe was ruled by two demon kings. One of them, Demon King Soaring, was crippled by Lin Muyu, and the other was Demon King Skyfeather. After dawn, he announced that he would lead his tribe to surrender to the Qin Empire and be loyal to Qin Yin and Lin Muyu. During the morning meeting, only 20 people arrived at the sacred altar out of the 100 demon venerables. Due to Nu Shi's departure, the hearts of the demon spirit tribe were scattered. It was difficult for them to unite like in the past. Many demon spirits even decided to leave alone and transform into humans. They would coexist peacefully with humans like they did many years ago, or they would use humans as food and resume their old life of hunting. After the morning meeting ended, only Lin Muyu and the other three were left in the empty sacred altar hall. Lin Muyu sat by the huge window of the hall and looked at the jungle in the distance. Qin Yin, who was beside him, carefully bandaged the wound on his arm. Tang Xiaoxi took breakfast from a demon spirit guard. It was a pot of porridge. The demon spirit tribe had always eaten meat. This was the only food that could be provided for them. Time to eat. Tang Xiaoxi was distributing the porridge. Lin Muyu leisurely said, no, I'm afraid we can't just leave the 100,000 demon spirits behind and leave. Although we just let the Sky Feather Demon King temporarily take over the position of Demon Emperor, Sky Feather is still a demon spirit. Once we leave, the Sky Feather Demon King will definitely lead the demon spirits to rebel against the Empire. At that time, the 100,000 demon spirits will become a thorn in our flesh. Tang Xiaoxi said, I'll stay. After all, after I transform into nine-tailed, I'm also a demon spirit in people's eyes. Maybe it'll be easier for me to talk to these demon spirits. The demon spirits are not the demons of the Western region. They are not as devout as the demons. Lin Muyu was a little worried. It's too dangerous for Xiaoxi to stay here alone. I'll stay as well. Xiao Yin and Yao will return to Red Rock City to oversee the situation. With the two of you there, the Celestial Empire won't dare to make any rash moves. Qin Yin nodded. Okay, I got it. Lin Muyu continued to sit there in a daze. Mu, what are you worried about? Tang Xiaoxi asked softly. The god-destroying pagoda. Lin Muyu spat out 3 words and frowned. That beam of light is the god-destroying pagoda. The demon emperor has already told me about it. In addition, that beam of light is emitted from the demon realm. In other words, the god-destroying pagoda can launch an attack on our plane from the demon realm. If the person holding the god-destroying pagoda enters the celestial pole continent, I'm afraid righteous gods like Xiaoxi and Xiao Yin will become hunting targets. But what can we do? Qin Yin said helplessly, the demon realm is too strong now. I can feel their restlessness. The only thing the righteous gods can do is to endure and wait. Only when more righteous gods appear will they be able to contend against the demon realm. Lin Muyu clenched her fists. The more I want to see through the heavenly Tao of Mahayana, the more I can't see through it. I don't know what I'm missing. Actually, what I want to do the most now is to immediately ascend and head to the celestial realm to stop the demon realm's attack. Who doesn't want to? Qin Yin smiled lightly, but what we need to do now is to settle the demon spirit race, then fight the celestial empire and the kingdom of Shang. After we unify this plane, we can head to the celestial realm without any worries. Okay, when do you leave? In the afternoon. Okay, be careful on the road. Don't worry, I'm a righteous god now, haha, that's true. Unlike the flourishing celestial pole mainland, the various spiritual mountains in the western divine realm had long fallen into a deathly stillness due to the loss of the support of divine power. Not even a blade of grass grew, and the prosperous scenes of the past had become a memory. The trial field, the place where Qin Yin had once walked out of. Rustle, the sound of footsteps landed on the withered grass. Shi Yan held the Qiyue sword in her hand as she walked step by step into the place she was once familiar with. However, the trial field was a mess now. Most of the buildings had been destroyed by Mara's army, and a large number of weapons and valuables had been plundered by the demon realm's army. The trial field was now just a huge empty shell. In the distance, a bewitching purple light shone from the radiant Saint Hall where ruler Claude used to live. That was the light of the demon realm's army. The radiant Saint Hall had already fallen into the hands of the demon realm's army. However, the radiant Saint Hall was at least 5 kilometers away from the trial field. As long as she did not make too much noise, she would not be discovered. Mara's senses were not particularly sensitive to power. As long as Shi Yan suppressed her aura and power, she would be able to survive under their noses. Walking through the rubble, Shi Yan's beautiful eyes were filled with worry and anxiety. What she needed the most right now was the Radiant Origin Stone. The Radiant Origin Stone contained an extremely powerful source of power, and it was one of the necessary items to revive Eva. However, the Radiant Origin Stone was too precious. Even ruler Claude only had a handful of Radiant Origin Stones. However, Shi Yan knew that there was someone who still had a Radiant Origin Stone. It was the Vice Dean of the trial field, Li Fei. She had once been rewarded for her contributions in selecting talents. Claude had chosen a Radiant Origin Stone from the Immortal Realm's treasury and given it to Li Fei. If Shi Yan remembered correctly, Li Fei had not used the Radiant Origin Stone. Instead, she had kept it. Now that the Immortal Realm was in ruins, and Li Fei had either been killed or had left early, Shi Yan's only hope was that the Radiant Origin Stone was still there. It was still in Li Fei's residence, the Vice Dean's office, or where she lived. In the distance, the training field of the trial field had already been destroyed. Iron dummies had been chopped down and burnt black. The trees on both sides of the road had also been uprooted. The demon realm was born with a strong desire to destroy. They seemed to be unable to see anything that could survive, even trees. Whoosh, stepping on the rubble, Xian took a big stride and landed in the middle of the ruins. The vice-dean's office had been burned down. The flowers and plants in the small courtyard had been smashed, the courtyard wall had been pushed down into a piece of rubble, and Li Fei's table had been burned to ashes. When Xian walked in, she found that the bathtub in the room had also been smashed. Li Fei was a woman who loved to look beautiful. Taking a bath every day was a compulsory lesson. Looking at the broken bathtub, Xian could not help but smile bitterly. The past was like a dream that could not be traced back. If she had not left back then, perhaps it would not have been like this. But on second thought, even if she did not leave, could she resist the invasion of the demon realm? Probably not. She might not even be able to save her own life. The demon realm would not let go of a blazing angel. She bent down and rummaged through the rubble, but after searching for a long time, her hands were covered in mud, but she found nothing. Eva's voice came from the broken sword, "Sister, I'm afraid that Li Fei has already taken the Radiant Origin Stone away. The Radiant Origin Stone is so precious, how could she leave it here?" Perhaps. Li Fei did not have time to leave. Xian was a little apprehensive and hesitant. She wanted to resurrect Eva, so she hoped that Li Fei had died in battle and left the Radiant Origin Stone behind. But she did not want Li Fei to die. After all, Li Fei was a familiar friend in the God realm. "Sister, can you sense the energy fluctuations of the Radiant Origin Stone?" Eva asked. "No." Xian shook her head and said, "Perhaps the power of the Radiant Origin Stone was concealed by the black sandalwood box." "That's not possible, I can only hope so." "You've worked hard, sister, I'm sorry." Eva said apologetically, "I was too incompetent back then, so I was swallowed by the demonic flames. Otherwise, you would not have to run around like this. Don't say silly things." Xian smiled faintly, "You did not disappoint me. On the contrary, when the seal of the 6 realms was broken, you did not escape, but died for your cause. This is my good Eva. Only this kind of nature is worthy of being a blazing angel of the Western Divine Realm, is it not?" "Hee, thank you, sister." Eva was a little happy and said, "But the Lord Ruler seems to have escaped." "Don't mention him." Xian said a little angrily, "Among the 4 great god realms, the 7 luminaries Demon Emperor defended the 8 Wastelands realm with his life, the Northern Divine King Dongming defended Black Rock City with his life, the Southern Divine Realm did not retreat at all, and most of the gods were slaughtered but still resisted Mara's army. Only our Western Divine Realm was defeated in one battle. We clearly had the responsibility of guarding the entrance to the Devil Realm, but we watched as the Devil Realm invaded. This is all because of Claude's cowardice. He only knows how to bare his fangs and brandish his claws against the weak, but when he meets a true expert, he is as timid as a quail." "A quail?" Eva giggled and said, "This analogy is very interesting, but, sister, to be honest, if I can really be resurrected and receive the recognition of the Mahayana Heavenly Tao, I will no longer be loyal to any divine king. I will only be loyal to my own heart. Yes, I will be the same. I will only be loyal to my own heart. That is what a true god should do." At this moment, a sharp cry suddenly came from the sky. It was the 2-winged Mara. Xian reacted extremely quickly. She quickly hugged the broken sword and leaped into a corner of Li Fei's room. She used the broken stone as a cover to conceal herself, and at the same time, lowered her aura to the minimum. She could not be discovered. Otherwise, even if she killed this Mara, it would probably attract the army of Mara from the Radiant Saint Hall. By then, it would be troublesome if thousands of Mara came. What was even more troublesome was if the Devil Realm's Ziyan was alarmed. That would be the real problem. Against the god-slaying tower that was powerful enough to destroy even gods, Xian did not have absolute confidence that she could escape alive. A black figure shot through the air. The two-winged Mara did not discover Xian's traces, nor did he discover anything unusual in the trial grounds. What an idiot! Chapter 1197. At dawn, Xian almost searched the entire training field, but she still could not find the light primordial stone. Perhaps the light primordial stone was not in the training field. It was almost dawn, and it was easier to be discovered by the two-winged Mara during the day. Moreover, the entire Western Divine Realm was under the control of the Demon Realm. Every 15 minutes or so, there would be a two-winged Mara flying over. The security was tight, and there was not much time left for Xian. Sister. In the broken sword, Eva reminded, it's time to find a place to rest. Why don't we go underground? Underground? Have you forgotten? There's an underground training field in the training school. Many giant beasts were raised there as training targets. Xian graduated from there. Oh, how could I forget? Xian was ecstatic. Yes, there's also the underground training field. Maybe the light primordial stone is hidden there. Yes. Xian flew and arrived below the seraph statue in the training field in the blink of an eye. The statue was about 5 meters tall. Xian's statue was used to show the power of the Western Divine Realm, but now the statue had been smashed into a pile of rubble by Mara. However, the base was still there. Mara and the others were all idiots. They did not know that the base was where the secret was. It was also one of the entrances to the underground training field. Creak, Xian pushed a protruding stone on the base. After moving it 2 squares on the left and right, the stone below slowly opened, revealing a stone path leading straight to the bottom. Great! She smiled cheerfully and walked in with Doll's original spirit. Then, she closed the entrance and raised the Wuxia sword high up. Light shone in all directions and illuminated the surroundings. The layout of the entire underground training field was not damaged at all. The army of the devil world did not seem to notice the mystery here. Eva said, I remember, there's a storage room next to the beast fighting room. It's like a temporary shelter. It was originally proposed by Li Fei. It's also a small underground lair for Li Fei. Sister, you can go to the storage room to take a look. Yes. Xian walked down the stone steps, and after confirming that there was no one around, she turned around and went to the storeroom. Woo-woo, he pushed open the door of the storage room. It had been a long time since anyone had come. The sound of the ventilation was like the howling of ghosts. There was even a huge spider web on the door, and dust kept falling. Xian narrowed her eyes and used the Wuxia sword to pry open the spider webs. She smelled a rotten smell and saw that there was no food in the storage room. Instead, it was filled with all kinds of books, making it look like a library. As for these books, most of them were from the education section of the Trial Academy, such as The Origin of Power, The Theory of the Beginning of Light, and so on. They were all things that Li Fei loved. Hiding a whole set of books in this place showed that Li Fei had the foresight to do so. Even if the Western Divine Realm was destroyed, at least their civilization was still here. These books could be said to have preserved at least half of the civilization of the Western Divine Realm. If Li Fei dies in battle, it would be such a pity. Xian murmured, she is a rare talent. Yes, she is also our mutual friend. I hope she has already escaped. Eva's figure flew out of the broken sword and stood beside Xian. She said with a smile, Sister, do I look like a ghost now? Xian burst into laughter, don't mess around. You're affecting my search for the Radiant Oregon. Eva stuck out her tongue and said with a smile, why do I feel like I'm happier after dying than I was when I was alive? I feel like I'm free now. I am me and nothing else. I hope you can be like this forever, no longer bound by anything. Shi Yan smiled meaningfully and said, no matter what, when you come back to life, you can stay by my side. We'll go find Xin and Lin Muyu. We'll live with them and be their super big light bulb. What do you think? Huh? Eva was startled and said, Lin Muyu is the god king of the Eastern Heaven realm. Will he not tolerate my identity? Don't worry, Yu is not the kind of person who haggles over the smallest details. He is very casual. How casual? He casually married two great beauties of the righteous gods. Xin and Tang Xiaoxi have both ascended to the righteous gods. You also felt it, right? Yes. We can't fall behind. Yes, help me find the radiant Oregon, but I don't have a physical body, so I can't help you. In the blink of an eye, half a day had passed. Li Fei's office had been turned upside down. Other than some small weapons and underwear that she had collected, there was nothing else. After a short rest, it was already night. When night came, Shi Yan planned to continue searching on the ground. However, it was clear that this night was not peaceful. Just as Shi Yan was rummaging on the ground, a group of Mara flew over her head. Jia Jia, they circled around, causing Shi Yan, who was hiding under a pile of dead wood, to feel very nervous. A few minutes later, Mara and the others actually landed. One by one, they landed on the broken wall like vultures and looked around with sharp eyes. One of the Mara snorted and said, "This place seems to be different from a few days ago." "What's different?" Another Mara with red chest hair asked. "It feels like these stones were not originally in this position." That Mara stood in the rubble and said, "Look, there are footprints here. There are traces of someone searching. Maybe those lazy Mara on the ground are looking for food or humans here. Humph, those lazy fellows." Suddenly, the body of the red chest hair Mara trembled, and he said, "No, I think I smell the scent of a living person." "That's right, the scent of a living person is over there. Quickly fly over and take a look. We can eat humans tonight." The group of two-winged devils flew away like a flock of startled crows. Under the dead wood, Shi Yan stood up slowly and frowned slightly. "The scent of a living person? What do you mean? Could it be that they can smell my scent?" "No." Eva said, "Sister, you still have the Godhead, so you won't emit the scent of a living person. There must be someone else here. We are not the only ones in this trial. Should we follow them secretly and take a look?" "Yes." Shi Yan's movement technique was outstanding, and she disappeared into the darkness in the blink of an eye. In the distance, the two-winged Mara shrieked incessantly, and they surrounded a person like a swarm of flies. They didn't seem to want to kill, but to brandish their weapons to force the person to lose the courage to resist. Under the messy stabs, the woman's clothes were torn apart, and her fair and clean body was revealed. Her figure was shockingly good. Furthermore, Shi Yan could hear whimpers and screams. The screams sounded familiar. Eva's primordial spirit could see more clearly, and she said with a trembling voice, "Sister, that woman seems to be Li Fei. She really didn't leave. She's still in the trial." That's right, it was Li Fei. Her long hair was very messy, and the bun at the back of her head was messed up. She no longer had the style of an office lady. Her dress had almost been stripped by the two-winged Mara, and there were streaks of blood on her body. Mara ate humans, and now that Li Fei had degenerated into immortal, she would soon become Mara's meal. What should we do? Eva was anxious. "Sister, attack now, or else Li Fei will be killed by Mara." Shi Yan shook her head, and her eyes shone with wisdom. "No, if I go to kill Mara directly, I'll be exposed. It's better to think of a way to lure them away." "How?" "I have my ways." As she spoke, Shi Yan suddenly clenched her fist. Suddenly, the surrounding aura and power began to change. The 6 wings behind her stretched out faintly, and a wave of divine power passed through the wall and blasted straight into the mountain outside. Pang! The huge force turned into a pillar of light that shot into the sky, and the entire trial shook. If she wasn't very familiar with this move, she probably wouldn't be able to use such a powerful force in another place. Kiki, the two-winged Mara were shocked, and they didn't care about the delicious meal that was Li Fei anymore. They all flew up and charged straight into the distance. Mara and the others were all idiots. In the blink of an eye, they all flew away, and not a single one was left to stand guard. Shi Yan turned into a cold light and flew over. She gently grabbed Li Fei in her arms, and turned to charge into the entrance of the underground secret room. The trembling Li Fei originally thought that she couldn't escape death. She only dared to raise her head when she was held under Shi Yan's armpit. She saw a familiar face, and she couldn't help but cry, "Lady Shi Yan. Lady Shi Yan, is that you? Is it really you? It's me. Long time no see, Li Fei. Let's hide in the secret room first." Okay. In the secret room, Li Fei was still in a state of shock. She sat in her office and quickly combed her hair. She pulled out a fountain pen from the table and wrapped it around her hair into a beautiful bun. She asked, "Is my hair messed up?" "It's not messed up at all." Eva's image flew out. "Lady Eva." Li Fei was shocked. "It's me, but I'm a ghost now." Eva laughed. This didn't scare Li Fei. Who was Li Fei? Ghosts and such were not strange to her. Shi Yan sat down on her desk and crossed her long legs. She asked, "Li Fei, what's going on? Claude has already left, so why haven't you left?" "Yes, the ruler has already left." Li Fei was a little disappointed. "But I and over 100 other angels thought that we shouldn't abandon this place, so we stayed to defend against the enemy. However, we didn't expect the demon realm to be so strong. In just a few months, we were almost all killed. Divine punishment took away our divine power, so we couldn't leave even if we wanted to. 7 days ago, the last battle angel was also eaten by Mara. I could only hide in the cave outside the trial and only come out at night to look for food. No wonder you were caught." Shi Yan frowned. "Are you very hungry?" "Yes." "Then why didn't you return to this secret room?" "There's no food in the secret room." "Who said so?" "Look at this." Shi Yan dragged out a box from under her desk. It was full of compressed biscuits. "Wow," Li Fei almost cried tears of joy. "I almost forgot that I used to hoard these. Eat quickly." "Yes." Li Fei ate quickly, while Shi Yan handed her a water bottle. "Oh, there's one more important thing." "Oh, what is it?" "Please tell me, milord. Don't you still have a radiant primordial stone?" "Where is it?" "Ah." Li Fei was shocked. "Milord, why are you looking for the radiant primordial stone?" "To revive Eva." "But the radiant primordial stone was stolen a month ago. It's now in the radiant temple. Those Mara are very afraid of the power of the radiant primordial stone, so they sealed it. It was taken away." Shi Yan narrowed her eyes. "Milord Shi Yan, do you have a plan?" Li Fei asked. "Yes, although it's a little impractical." "Tell me first, milord." "Take back the radiant primordial stone, revive Eva, and then rebuild the Western Divine Realm with the power of the three of us. We'll banish the Demon Realm army." "Wow. That does sound a little impractical. Are you willing to join us?" "Of course I'm willing to do such a challenging thing." "Good." She didn't know why, but after seeing Li Fei, Shi Yan's confidence had doubled. You're tuning in to the Unparalleled SwordWill YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.